What up, Tower? And now the new millennium. Another radio station. Yes, it is Saturday day. Today's the day that I felt like Saturday for change.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other Saturdays really quite feel like Saturdays.
DNA, you sound so sexy. I feel.
What up, love?
What's good?
All right, I didn't come up with a name for the topic, but I got some questions. Hopefully, it'll get some of you folks involved, and I can hear some of the beautiful mindsets behind, what you guys think about it. What up, Jabari? What up? What up, Chicago? Chi-Town in the house. But it's basically something like a little on a realm of like brotherhood, unity. I'm definitely gonna address some of the shame and the crimes we do against each other. What I'm saying, not understanding each other's walks in life. So I'm definitely gonna.
Okay, 7 o'clock after this record. Okay?
All right.
Not too much above your head. Let's look. Why is that moving so slow? It's temptation.
It's a little bit laggy. Like more.
All right. What's good, people? I'm just crashing through.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My boy Wiz in the house. Libra season.
That's right.
What up to all my Libras up in here? Anybody got any Libra birthdays? I gotta give a shout out to Libra since they're like our twin. They share Venus with us, so you gotta give them respect. They do their thing too.
Yeah. So you mean me and Ray Clay share the same? Oh wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm beating up my phone.
And y'all got it by the same planetary energy, Venus. I appreciate you. Miss Gemini, Miss Diamond.
Keep on calling.
Everybody got any plans for this Saturday night? Yes, I do.
You have that in front of you also about the sound quality?
The reminder, yep, right.
Maybe your phone number too.
You got the phone number, yep.
That's theirs. Yours said BU and
Hey, what up, Cricket? Long time no see.
Rockman. And millions.
What's going on, fellas and gentlemen? All right, DNA every Saturday from 6:30. Normally we start at 6:30, but I was running a little late today. But BU is a live interactive radio program for our brothers and sisters within our same gender loving community and the LGBTQ community. BU and always be true to thyself. To be true to yourself takes courage. It requires you to be introspective, sincere, open-minded, and fair. It does not mean that you should make for yourself. BU on DNAradio.net is a radio program to help support and uplift our brothers and sisters within our same gender loving community and our down low communities. We are human beings who have a life, not a so-called lifestyle. BU is not a radio program that gives away any of our same gender loving or down low intimate secrets within our community or anything of that nature. So please understand, we at BU are not trying to be a super called tell-all program. Furthermore, BU is not a gossip type of program such as TMZ, Page 6, or Wendy Williams, etc. We, the BU and BUNation.net staff, team, and family come in love, support. And again, I'm your host, Rockman.
You know what I heard? That they're not Williams show. We have to send us some sympathy flowers.
Really? Wow. That's it.
Y'all gotta see it.
It just hurts my heart.
What's going on, Bernice?
Hey, Bernice. What's going on?
What up, Jeff?
BU is in with that?
Yes, indeed. Okay. All right. I know you You know, people missed me last week in radio station here, but hopefully I make up for it by having something interesting. Well, I got a couple of things on the agenda. I don't really have a particular name to title this, but the questions are definitely, let me get the ball started. All right. First of all, again, this pertains to our brothers and sisters within our community. I would say the main highlight is should we all be on the same page for unity, understanding, and brotherhood to occur? I want to touch on that. I'm going to touch on a lot of things, but I really want to, give the spotlight to what makes us separated, within our walk of life. What makes us separate us from the choices, our mentality, the things we have. Like, if being gay, homosexual, LGBTQ is supposed to entitle, brotherhood and unity. I see very little bit of it going on within our communities. I see people mostly, separate. They do their little clique thing and they hang out with, the people that they feel like, but then they kind of bash other people when they move differently. What's going on, Lisa? Lisa Johnson, Rashid Muhammad. Okay. Um, why is it that other people have standards and they want to talk down about how one wants to live their life according to existing in this realm when it's already tough when we already deal with the oppression that people telling us who we should love and who we should be involved with. What up, Rohan? What up, Devon? Again, that's going to be the highlight, and that's definitely the bonus. The other question I got: what drives you to want men of your choice? To be your choice. Same with women. What would drive a woman to want to be with another woman? Do you feel you follow a trend or tradition, or do you follow your own path? Most people I feel they try to either fit in or they just have trouble conforming, which is all right because then they show that they're their own person. They make their own mind, and they're not afraid to travel a road alone if necessary. What's going on, Robin? All right. Why do we shame one another based on limited exposure or lack of experiences? Um, Not that we have to prove anything to anyone, but how do most of us demand or expect the heterosexual society to take us seriously when we shame, bash, and disrespect one another blatantly? I feel that it is no wonder that they look down upon us or less of a human being, especially some of the disrespect that tends to come from our realm and trickles down into their realm. Most people don't really want to be bothered with it, let alone celebrate it, but to take the time to understand that we're all different. We all have different agendas as to how, you know, if you see some of the ones who are on a more respectful part of, this genre, they you tend to see that, wow, like you didn't know that this particular type of person exists. What's going on, Lenny? Um, is there a difference in mentality between homosexual men, gay men, bisexual men, transgender men, asexual men, or pansexual men? What are your concerns when dealing with same-gender individuals? What separates us as a community of LGBTQ or same-gender loving people? And are you picky, high standards, superficial, materialistic, quirky, or just a unique preference as to why you are single? So these are things I think these are issues, and I'm sure there's plenty more. You got, I could go on about like exercising and health issues, mental health issues, et cetera, because that plays a major role. But again, call us. Our number is 917-727-8020. Again, that number is 917-727-8020. Remember, our show is a dialogue, not a monologue. So let us hear your live inputs and your comments.
I have a quick question for you. In regards to, this is about relationship, something you said. Something you said. I'm losing my train of thought now. Do you think guys on the down low, the DL guys, do they want a relationship, or do they just want a quick sexual fix?
I would say 87% of them want just a quick, easy fix. The other ones, they may, depending on the circumstance, and of course, they have to be available for that to be. But I'm sure they.
Wait. What do you mean available?
I mean, available. Like mentally, sometimes they might not be. Emotionally, they may not be available. So a relationship isn't possible without those components.
So when you talk about the fix, their emotional and psychological state.
Or even mental state. The mental state, they mentally might not want it. It's might like, for instance, a homosexual man is just somebody who's just only interested in the sexual part of homosexuality. They don't care about gay, the culture, the lifestyle, or what it entails to be that. They just want to know, okay, wham, bam, call it a day. They might not even think about it after the deed is done.
So that, and you this from your research, right?
Yes.
So the homosexual man, he'll get this urge, this feeling, and he'll do it with anyone, or does he have a
I'm sure he has a particular type or a preference that he would prefer, and basically they have to have the same mentality with the they know what it is type of deal. Like, okay, we're here for this and nothing more, so don't make it any more or less complicated than this. Because if you're gonna play that role with them, less than likely they're easily able to get turned off and find somebody else who's not going to give them or make them think more than what they feel like they want from that particular circumstance.
And would all those titles you mentioned, would all those titles fall under homosexuality and just different lanes?
Different lanes, different mentality, different ways of thinking, and different desires. Not all these men desire the same thing. Even when it comes, not even just the preference of what you want about sex, but just how to go about it, how to initiate it, or what they do in the day-to-day versus weekly or monthly, etc. Whenever their cycle is, depending on what they're looking for, will determine if you're an individual looking for that particular brand. Hopefully, you qualify and you fall into a place where they would probably want to go, and vice versa, because it should be a mutual thing. It takes two consenting adults to say, hey, okay, I can rock with this.
When you say cycle, what do you mean by cycle?
Cycle, like
Like the menstrual cycle?
No, I more or less a sexual cycle. Like when is your like
You just coined a new phrase, the sexual cycle.
maybe. I mean, I'm always coming up with something new all the time, and I'm kind of original, so
Go on.
that's just how these things flow. But all right, Lenny, what up? Yeah, I'm gonna try my best to always keep doing the thing, to be the voice. Hopefully, I say the right thing that triggers the response from the correct individual. Hopefully, they have some intelligence to kind of share some light to this thing, because we need a voice out there, and definitely, it don't have to necessarily be my voice, but I don't mind being the start to pave the way for other people to come about and help push this agenda. That we need something to represent. I want to say us as a whole, but the different factions and the different mentalities of how people represent themselves, being LGBTQ, being seen and loved.
Well, how many Dr. Kings have there been since Dr. King? Just one, right?
Just one.
How many Malcolms? Just one. Here's some others who follow.
I could probably be one in the making, because Malcolm X is a Taurus like me.
Exactly. I think he has some Aries in him too. Maybe.
No, but he's too close to the Geminis, because he's the 19th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a May Taurus like me.
Outspoken. Okay. Which is beautiful. So you say you might, the voice doesn't have to be your voice. I say, why not your voice?
I mean, I could be a part of it, but who's to say that I would say the very thing that would represent all the other people who I might not be speaking what they would speak, to say, hey, look, okay, I could stand up for this. You know what I'm saying? I more or less try to stand up for everybody so that they could feel, welcome and feel like they have a place, but also more so for the people who would identify and find what I'm about more relatable. But then, like I said, for me, I'm all about unity and, the betterment of people having, the ability to want to pursue what it is that they love, they like to do or be a part of. Anyway, let me know what some of y'all think. I'm gonna, pick one of these questions I have, and hopefully elaborate and get some feedback on some of you guys. But like I said, I definitely would like some kind of sharp intellect to help even shed some light on places where I can't shed. Because like I said, my voice isn't always gonna reach every person who more or less can't. What up, Gerald? Another Taurus brother in the building. Like I said, the main highlight I really want you guys to kind of wrap your head around is, should we all be on the same page for unity, understanding, and brotherhood to occur? Again, LGBTQ, same gender loving. I was under the influence that, the reason why we have this thing called gay pride was because of the fact of, celebrating some of the cultural, differences and the cultural things you could find festered within the LGBTQ community. And the fact, like I said, we all have different ways as to why we exist in this world and what we follow and what we, hopefully want to pursue or bring into our lives.
Question. You mentioned, I want to pass over so quick, sexual cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Sexual cycle. My question was about these download guys, and you call them heterosexuals, you just want that sex and move on. So you're saying they have a sexual mental cycle, a sexual psychological cycle, and something else you said too.
But that's kind of how I choose to look at it, also based on, firsthand experience. I look at it like that because sometimes it could be, I guess you could say, like, I might have a fix for ice cream. I might, be like, yo, I want to, eat a lot of ice cream, you know what I'm saying? But then I have a day where, like, I'm not interested in ice cream, I'm on to something else, But basically, it's when that desire comes that, okay, you might want this night, but then it's more prevalent, yes, within our, community, our same gender community, that I guess it would fall in. How do you feel that day? Friday and Saturday nights tend to be the nights that I think most people within our community tend to get hyped up when it comes to being sexually active. Yeah.
Like, I mean, the thing that's why they say thank God it's Friday.
Weekends, like I'm hopefully like my next job, I get another job where I don't have to work the weekends or I work overnight because I prefer overnights than
midnight to 8.
But
weekends also.
I mean, even though I work the weekends, I rather work overnight because I don't know.
You never suggested that to us at the spot.
No. How to say? No, I was fine with the beach time shift. The what was it, 11? No, 7, 3, 4. Yeah, I didn't mind that either because then if I wanted to go out and party and do something, because like I said, I'm up at night. I'm more active at night, so I'm a night owl.
Night owl.
Yeah.
So I want to understand the sexual cycle though. You just coined the phrase. So this from your experience with the other heterosexual download men?
I would say just men in period. No matter what they choose to identify, let's just say I happen to get them in that particular episode where, that can be prevalent. I would say sometimes it's a hit or miss. Sometimes you might catch that one on the day where they're not interested in it as much as you are, where that might be your night that you feel like, yo, like I'm ready. And they might not.
You hit them up or they hit you up?
Sometimes it can be either way, but I'm talking about the setting like if I happen to go to a club or a bar and I happen to run into an individual to my liking that happen to be there, they might just want to be there just to chill and have fun. They might not particularly have any agenda, but yet the timing didn't hit them right where they feel like, okay, I can get involved this, but not saying that like necessarily if you go to a club and bar because you want to, get knocked off or something. Like it goes just. What would that individual be up for in that particular thing? Whether they want like a nice conversation, they might want to chill and kick it and pick your brain a little and see what you're really about before they decide to say, okay, I can rock with this, But sometimes it's a mixed signal about understanding where that person's at, So sometimes when they say go with the flow, just try to see what it is, and sometimes it doesn't disappoint me where if I run into somebody and they're not on that agenda, I'm like, it's not a bad thing because to me it's more valuable when that person is ready for gladiator games.
But will excuse me, will this heterosexual who has these sexual cycles, will they be willing to exchange?
Well, I don't like to call it that for those because I look at it, they're men just like me. No, I don't look at It's just depending on, again, what they feel like they're looking for.
You don't want to use what term? Homosexual?
Heterosexual or homosexual, or even try to indicate heterosexual men are, because they don't identify as the way we do. Like, I would have to
identify homosexual.
Well, we fall under it. LGBTQ is basically under the homosexual umbrella.
Identify all kinds of man-made themes and titles and.
So then, how would you better identify you as an individual who finds other genders attractive, the same attractive? SGL is the same thing.
It's good to have gay, it's good to have LGBTQ, it's good to have same-gender loving, but in reality, I just love young black men without any preferences in terms of straight, gay, bisexual.
Sexuality. I mean,
if you're a young, attractive black male, then that might be a turn on to me. 50% of the time. Picky.
50% of the time, you sure it's not 75 or 89?
I know me, I'm very picky. I got nerve, right?
Hey, look, you're entitled to it, man. Hey, I say go for greatness if you can. If you can get with it, then more power to you.
I've been very picky all my life. I said, when I get older, I'll just have anything. But now that I'm older, I'm still very picky. I guess you always do all your life.
Well, like they said, not just anything will do.
True indeed. Is that camera out of focus on YouTube?
No, it looks pretty fine to me.
Okay.
It's just a little slow, that's it. So it's a little laggy.
What else is on? What else is on back behind it, besides the radio station? Look at the tabs. I know the D said Golden D. That's the radio station. The tabs up top.
There's quite a few things on it.
Oh, that's okay. I'll go office and office.
All right. There's quite a few things. But yeah, again, like I said, everybody has a different cycle. Like even if we just limit it to just heterosexual men, they have a cycle when they feel like, hey, they ready for some business or some action, or they cool and they could just, relax and chill. Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff open up there.
All this flash.
It's gonna take its time to get rid of.
Yeah. I don't even took me so good.
So yeah, so basically, depending on that individual, if they have a taste or preference for that particular flavor, that particular night, even then, they might be looking for something in that particular, in a sense of maybe a certain flow or a certain, how, I guess, how a person moves, and if they move a certain way that's like that, it's pretty much like they'll do good without having it because it's more trouble than what it's worth. And sometimes I get to that feeling too. When things just be more than what it should be. So I just, for the most part, I don't like to call it picky. I just say, hey, look, I'm this preference inclined. And if it can't be that, then how can one hope to keep me satisfied in something that at the end of the day, hey, if I'm what you like, you got to be what I like too. And I get it. In fact, I saw a post earlier today that said something about, people that, go to the gym and stuff. Like they say, oh, is it mandatory that if you date somebody, they should go to the gym too? But like, I feel like, hey, you should be able to have what you feel like you want if you kind of, hey, Kim, what's going on, Kim? And that goes the same in a heterosexual setting. Like even though if a woman looks a certain way, why can't she be entitled to have the standard of the kind of man she wants in her life? Especially if she feels, that level of attraction stuff. Maybe that individual, most people don't take the time to identify that individual may be willing to do that work or put the effort of wanting to be committed to somebody if it comes in that package. Meaning that it's not like it's like going to the store and you spending your money for something. Why?
Okay. Sorry about that.
Why should you have to spend your money on something you don't really want? I feel like if you're gonna put your effort in something, it's gotta be something that's worth it. And if it's not worth it, then like I tell people when they come to me, if you're looking for something, you gotta come to the table stacked or prepared. If you're not, then don't expect much out of me. I adjust to that person's level basically. Depending on how bad I really want to be there. So I feel like if it's a waste of my time, then I'll do second, third grade shit. Like, I don't believe that I should bring my all to a situation that is of no interest to me. What up, Jason? But yeah, like I said, I really want to understand, for those who's within our same gender lover community, do you think there is a difference in mentality between homosexual men, gay men, bisexual men, transgender men, asexual men, or pansexual men? You know, I'm gonna give you my little insight. I think there is a difference mentally of how they think. They all want something different. They all have a different agenda as to how they operate and what ticks. The only thing they have in common is that a man may be their choice or an option, however which way you want to look at it. What up, Garrick? I think we got another Taurus brother up in the building.
Before you start, do trannies date trannies?
Actually, a buddy of mine brought this up earlier before I got here today. Yeah, my boy Jabari. He said we was talking about we saw a post about a transgender couple, meaning a transgender man and a transgender woman, and they're in a relationship together. And I'm like, wow, it's like they found a match made in heaven to be what one wants it to be. And we all came up with like, okay, so would that make them heterosexual in a sense, even though they changed their outward appearance, or if they had the operation or whatnot? Would that make them technically that's still a man and a woman together?
Well, you lost me.
All right, a transgender man is still.
Well, explain what that is.
But a transgender man is basically a woman who wanted to transit into being a man,
So,
and a transgender woman is
so that first one, that outer appearance
is a man, but biologically they're a woman.
They're still a woman.
Biologically, yeah.
They can't give you a penis.
No, at least one that works and functions the way a real man's penis would work.
So this is a former female who's now gendered.
Yeah, and identifies as a man now, and the outward appearance gives the appearance of a man.
And her mate, her partner,
is the exact opposite. Transgender woman, a man who transitions into being a woman, but biologically that's still a man.
But would this individual have a penis, or
some of them take it off, some of them keep? But I imagine in this sense he kept it so that it could be like, you know, especially if he's one of those. Because what up, Joshua? There's still some transgender women who start off as men. They still keep their dick and they still use their dick, even though they want to identify being a woman. And some, I hate to say, I would say there's a demographic of men, individuals who tend to like that. And I don't knock it, but I would say I would like to know, just for research and informational purposes, as to how they could, you know, find that interesting.
So I can understand and follow you. It's a man who, wouldn't that be a drag queen?
No, drag queen is like basically what RuPaul is.
She kept her penis.
And he still becomes a man when he wants to become a man. But then when this drag is it's like being a superhero. You put on your costume when you're out there saving lives. When you're not saving lives, you have your regular clothes on.
So the one you mentioned before, that transgender, they stay that way all the time. They don't go back and forth.
No. Once they do this stuff, it can be pre-op or post-op. Pre-op means before the operation. Post-op means after the operation. So they may have got the operation to more fit the role that they're trying to portray.
So what you said earlier, they keep their dick, but they 24 hours a day they dress like a woman.
Yeah.
And that's called.
Oh man, you're gonna make me hurt my brain.
I was just following your notes. You was mentioning earlier. I know when I was in high school, we had a sexual ed course, and there was something called transsexuals and transsexuals and transvestites.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember which was which. The transvestite, I think the transsexual was the one who got the operation. I might be wrong, but you guys can look it up. Transsexuals and transvestites. You heard that term before?
Yeah, I heard them.
So what's your definition of a transvestite?
I can't really say. I don't
remember either in high school. You know? So I know those are the two terms. One got the operation and one kept their dick. And I don't remember who was who.
That is a good question. Maybe I might shed some light and illuminate about that on another topic to. All I know is that when you hear post-op and pre-op, that's when you can know the difference between if it's going to be permanent versus it's just temporary, meaning I can just take this off at any time I want.
That's exactly.
Yeah, the drag queens.
Billy Teller.
Yeah, it basically
RuPaul.
they might go to do performances and they do it just for money and do the things, or they could be in line with, I guess you could say, female impersonation. So they might get on there, get on show, get on stage to perform. They do all that, but eventually the makeup and the wig and everything comes off.
Right.
It's basically just a job.
So the poster you and your associate were discussing.
Yeah.
With the couple.
Yeah. We were trying to say, like, would that make them heterosexual in a sense? If you think about it.
How did you know How do you know if they cut penis?
Because the way the story went down, I would just assume for them to even want to speculate that this is a heterosexual couple.
Okay. I mean, was there a poster? You were reading something? Or?
It was a post you seen on social media.
Oh, post on social. I'm thinking about a subway post. You see the subways. Oh, it's a post on social media.
Yeah, and it was a live video, so it wasn't like it was just a picture. It was like, they was doing the thing, like, moving around their everyday regular life type shit. And I was like, wow, like there is something. So I would never think that something like that could work. But then, if you could think of it, why shouldn't it work? Why shouldn't it not work?
So the I don't call it gentleman, what do I say? The one who kept their dick, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're assuming they're the top.
I'm gonna say top. He drag queens and transgender, some of them still use their dick, even though they want to look or portray themselves as a woman. They still do it, and there's certain men who will allow that to happen. Let's just say that.
So you were saying earlier that you can understand, you don't knock it. A bisexual straight man would get his buns done by a transgender woman and think nothing of it.
Pretty much, yeah.
And you can't understand that phenomenon.
No, I can't. I don't knock it. It's just that I just know it's not for me. I want somebody to help ease my curiosity. Cause I'm just curious as to how does that work.
Well, they get the best of both worlds. They get titties.
I thought that's what bisexuality is. The best of both worlds. I have a choice between either a man or a woman. I could be happy.
But you don't like threesomes. You like one-on-one, right?
I prefer one-on-ones.
But this individual who's dealing with it, I don't know what to call it. And I don't want to be insulting because I have no problem with my brothers and sisters in that.
I got a comment. Garrick said some would identify as pansexuals, others would identify as queer, some would say bisexual or heterosexual. Okay. And Garrick also says, drag is merely a job. A drag queen is a cross-dressing performer. One who is transgender identifies as being the opposite of sex that they were born with.
Transgender. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Transgender, same gender, transgender. Okay. So back to the post you saw on social media, right? Thank you for that. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Garrick.
Yes, thank you. So the individual who likes the transgender female, right?
The transgender man trying to be a female.
Or
identifying as a female. I like to say that because if that's what you identify, I don't have no problem respecting that individual as to how they want to be identified as.
How you pronounce that again? What's it called?
What?
Transgender. Okay, so transgender female or male? How do you say it?
It depends on what you're talking about. Is the individual, did he start off as a man and
No, I'm saying he's with a person who don't consider himself gay, but he likes a man who has titties and dick to do his buns. Or suck the titties, suck the dick.
I don't know what to call those type of
No, I'm just saying. You said if it's a bisexual, you're the best of both worlds. So, but that's separate. Those are separate incidents, separate events. You have the girl over here with the titties and the pussy. You have the guy with the dick and the booty, right? But now with the transgender, I'm assuming they have titties and they have dick all at the same time. Why are you laughing?
Because forgive me when I say this, and again, I don't even say that because sexually, if I see that, it would ruin me. Just to see it in front of me. I mean, I've tried everything. I consider myself a jack of all trades, and I know about what I like. And again, this is just my preference, but and I'm not gonna knock anybody for having whatever they feel like they want. But to me, that would be just a train wreck of just like what do I do?
Well, I mean, okay, we're getting back to the individual. You say you don't understand an individual who would like a transgender woman with titties and dick.
Mm-hmm.
So for that individual, once again, they get the best of both worlds. They can get a chance to suck the titty, they get a chance to finger the booty, and they get a chance to suck the dick. All in one event. As opposed to picking 3 different people, they have all this in one person.
Now, I never said I was against having a threesome with a guy and a girl, because then that, for me, truly, ultimately would be the best of both worlds, because I could have my pick and have fun. I never had fun and enjoy both simultaneously.
You've never?
No, I've only
I would
had.
definitely hook you up with some pretty women. Ain't no pretty women. Anyway, back at the ranch. So I can understand. I've seen things where, what in your speech about not giving out secrets and stuff? In your speech, we don't. Mm-hmm. What's that part? Can you read that part again? Is it handy?
Yes. Okay.
Because we're not doing that here. We're just talking about.
No.
We don't name names. No. Naming names.
So please understand, we at BU are not trying to be a so-called superhead tell-all program. Furthermore, BU is not a gossip type of program such as TMZ, Page 6, or Wendy Williams, etc.
And we don't give out any type of secrets. Secrets.
Yeah, secrets, yes.
So we're not giving out secrets. We're just trying to understand, to respect, and just understand the community.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
I think I understand to some degree.
What up, Big Les? What up, Virgil? Nah, for the most part, I only said it because I can't say my experiences, but I remember these individuals, but I do remember the initial experience of, dealing with these individuals or talking to these individuals. And I still, 19 years later, I still haven't got a clear-cut answer as to how it is. Like, I had a roommate when I was living in Philadelphia. He's another Taurus like me. He's an April Taurus.
No names.
But he's a clown. I mean, in a sense, in a good way. I mean, he's still, my homeboy. Like, he still considered himself straight, even though he's messing with a transgender. And he knew that was a dude. And he wanted to poke fun at me, but like, oh, I'm so far. I like, no, I'm bisexual. I have choices of men and women at my disposal. Where you're choosing this dude who's perpetrating being a female,
wrong. I like that perpetrating.
Impersonating or identifying as a woman, but still is biologically a man and still has a dick.
So we're not here to judge.
No, of course, no. But for you to say that and have that thing and still think that you're heterosexual, then you must have fell down several flights of stairs or got knocked out of a tree somewhere, because I don't know where in your mind where you still think you're heterosexual. If you're heterosexual men, in my opinion, still go for women. They know that that's a woman biologically, everything. It's natural. There's no mistaking it. But if that's how you want to call it, so you can feel good about what you lay in bed with, then hey, be my guest. But I'm not gonna, I'm not going to appease to it and give you the satisfaction, make you feel good about that. No, I still know that that's a fucking dude. You still doing your thing. At least, I'm upfront about my shit. But anyway, like, here's another question, all right? What separates us as a community of LGBTQ or same-gender loving? Like I said, I want to state, the differences between the different types of homosexual men you can find within, same-gender loving, same-gender loving people. And I came to the conclusion that if somebody's doing something different than what you believe in, and what you've learned, what you've been taught, and what you follow, we tend to look down upon it and we tend to hate it because we choose not to, or we opt out of not trying to understand why that individual decides to identify or follow that faction. All right, Garrick says he is heterosexual. He's attracted to that transgender woman because she looks like a woman. But still, that's still a guy, and it's a guy. Just because you could be disillusioned by that, that's not going to stop the next man or woman from saying, like, that's not a woman. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not here to split hairs or ruin somebody's happily ever after if that's what you see. But to kind of, I only said that, I only went back with this dude because he tried to bash me by saying, like, there's no such thing as bisexual, like, you're gay. So even if I still mess with women just as much, or I have my, season where I'm only just attracted to women and not men, but still men could be at any given time something that's a choice or an option for me. Like, that doesn't make sense as to, I mean, again, that's neither here nor there. I have no problem with addressing any individual who wants to say I identify as this. But to me, if I know that you're a guy or I know that you're a girl, in my mind, you're still a woman, you're still a dude, you're still a girl. If you transgendered or transition to be a man, I'll address you as how you want to be addressed, but biologically, but I'm going by biology, what you came out of the womb as. You came out of the womb as that. You may not identify as that, but unfortunately, that's really that's the reality. I'm going on reality basically. I know it may be a little bit of disrespect, but then think about it. Like I said, I don't deal with certain individuals based on because they want to portray being this or portray being that. It's either you are or you're not.
But who made you the judge?
I'm saying for me. Not. However, an individual want to live their life, that's fine. But like I said, I have no problem addressing you. You want to be called she or he, I'll call you that. But you're not going to get me to accept fully that you are a man. Like, for instance, I'm looking at you right now. You're a man. So you can't say, oh, I'm a girl, I'm a lady and stuff. You're not going to get me. Even if you put on the aesthetics to make yourself look like that, to play or portray that part, I'm still going to see you. In my eyes, I still see a man in front of me.
So it goes back to, what's the guy named? Kevin Hart, maybe? When he talked about his son, if he had a son that was gay, you're almost taking that same type of stance in terms of.
I'm saying what I see, but I accept you if that's what you want to be called. I'll accept that, but that's not going to roll to me. It's no different than a child. Even children can see it. I saw it. My little cousin, my little nephew did it all the time. Oh, that's not a girl. That's a guy. I mean, he was innocent. He don't understand what that is. I mean, that's a little kid saying the truth. They're saying it how they see it.
I don't mean to laugh.
But that's how they said it, and it came out exactly just like that. Exactly like that.
But you understand the importance of acceptance. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if you, as a bisexual male, cannot accept another quote unquote homosexual and not respect, and I don't know what the word is, but I'll just use respect for lack of a better word.
I do respect it. If that's how you identify or expect it. But in the back, I'm talking about my mind. Nobody has the key to get in there and say, I'm going to change your mind or take that out of you and replace it with this. Nobody has the right to do that. I'm saying in my mind, in my head, yeah, I'm going to call you she or he, however you want to be called. But in my head, you're still a man. You're still a woman. That's how I see it.
So this is the transsexual who had the operation or did not have the operation.
Whether you had it or not, if you identify, you don't have to have the operations to still identify as whatever gender you feel comfortable identifying as. But like I said, I'll address you the way you feel like you want to be addressed. But you can't go into the confines of my mind and tell me that I have to accept that you are a woman. You see, there's a difference between you are a woman versus you want to be looked at as a woman.
So now you, who are in the same gender-loving, SGL, LGBTQ, gay community, bisexual community, if you're taking that hard stance, can't you imagine a person who's completely anti-gay, not even accepting a gay person for what they are? How can you like a man? No way in the world. You were born a man. You can't like a man. According to this,
sexuality is not a preferred thing that's owned between. It's really about the individual and their willingness and openness to say, hey, look, I could open to things like that. Like I said, this has been going on since ancient times, and I believe it's on so many levels. But it's a natural occurrence to want to be curious and to explore your sexual heights and see what's good for you versus what's not. Like I said, sex is a pleasure that at the end of the day, like I said, humans and dolphins are the only creatures on God's planet that has sex for fun outside of procreation.
I don't know too much about the dolphins.
Dolphins are mammals like us. They breathe air just like us. They're warm-blooded just like us.
I think I must have missed that class in biology or whatever it's called. I must have missed that class. I never paid much attention to animals.
Oh, Garrick says something interesting. Garrick says biology also suggests that reason people are transgender is due to their brain structure being that of the opposite of the sex they were assigned with at birth.
Read that again, please.
Biology also suggests that reason people are transgender is due to their brain structure being that of the opposite of the sex they were assigned with at birth.
Well, okay, thank you for that. We appreciate that, Garrett. Right, Garrett?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with me, I take a little bit of a different approach or opinion to what your stance to what you're saying. If a person want to be called she, he, I have no problem with whoever calling you that. Like you want to be called Rockman, right? Either or, mainly Rockman. I want to be called DNA. So I have no problem calling somebody what they want to be called. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm saying internally, I don't accept that. Like in my mind,
yeah, I do accept it. If that's what you want to be.
On the outside, on the surface, I'll call you whatever you like. But on the inside, I still say that that's a man. Well, to myself, I won't tell them verbally. I won't outwardly say that. But in myself, like what that child said, oh, that's a man. That's not a yeah. No. But I'm saying, but in my head, I'm saying that to myself. Like I don't do that. But then I thought, oh yeah, hello, miss, or whatever. I'll say that. But in my head, I'm like, that's not.
Just okay. But with me, I came around because I had some roommates who were dudes, and they wanted to have the operation, and they wanted to be a full woman. I couldn't understand it back then. We're going back 20 years ago. But today, what happened today?
Now I'm thinking about 20 years. That's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. And they got, like I told the story many times. They got kicked out of their houses. They were either seniors in high school or juniors or freshmen in college. They never told me their age, so I'm going to assume they were freshmen in college. And very intelligent, brilliant musicians, singers. They were excellent individuals.
What up, Christopher?
But because they were gay, they got kicked out of them. They got kicked out of the house and had no place to live. And they stayed with me for almost 3 years.
Damn.
Good people, nice guys, smart, intelligent. We used to always play Monopoly, and then we played. What's that? The game they used to play downtown?
Did I play Strip Monopoly?
No, we never played that. We had our own rules, but wasn't no.
Damn, see, that's the whole purpose of that. Y'all made rules, damn. Why didn't y'all go there?
We created our own rules, different things, and we played spades. Spades is a big game too.
Oh yeah, I still play spades.
I played blackjack. Yeah. So they were nice guys, real nice, smart guys. Never stole, I've had thugs who stole. And these were guys who were gay.
The ones who preferred, but yeah. I mean, they get a bad rep too, because not all of them are high rollers like that who's on the dangerous life. Some of them are respectful, intelligent, just as myself, even more. But but it's just that they're very rare.
Yeah, you do get something to ruin it for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So I can't accept it. If they want to be called a woman, then I'll just accept it.
But the thing is, like I said, in my life, the way, and it's not that I shun them. I don't feel like I have very much in common with them outside of that. Because to me, I'm like, okay, show me your regular. Where are you as a regular human being in your day-to-day life, where you do things according to the way, Not saying we have any rules or set parameters we have to follow, but in the terms of like, okay, what regular humans practice on a day-to-day basis. I don't see what they do in their life with intertwined with what I do in my life. Like, for instance, I'm a gamer and I smoke weed. Like, they can't relate to that. They like balls and fashion and houses and voguing and all that.
All of them, because these two guys, neither one of them were in the ball. They did do the little Vogue thing. That's actually how I met them in the village. They were doing this Vogue stuff. I thought, well, that's kind of cute, So, but I guess the thugs the DL thugs get a bad rap, and so does a lot of that.
No, I'm not saying that, because I've met a few people who maybe not be that extreme, but let's just say like I try to tell some individuals I talk with, converse with. They I have some soft feminine friends. They're not like stereotypical feminine, but you could tell that they with it. They draw that attention to self, not intentionally or purposely, but that's just how they represent. And you could kind of more or less come to the conclusion that men are their choice, or they're gay, or however you want to label them as or identify them as, that they feel that. But to me, they show the respect, that they show that they're regular human beings. They're not the stereotype of what exists within LGBTQ or same gender loving. They're not stereotypical. And I feel like if more people stood out of the lines of that, I would be more inclined to befriend them or see what these particular individuals about, because why they're showing me that they're different than mainstream people and they're not following the same trend everybody else is following. And because not very many people show me that they exist out of that realm of that trend, I don't have very many people who exist within there. So I don't know too much of what goes on within their lives. I don't even know what goes on in the lives of lesbians or, dykes or, whatever, or lesbians. I have no idea what goes on in their life at all.
You know what's so funny? When people hear the word gay, or when people use the word gay, they put us all in one category,
Yes.
in one bucket.
And it's irritating. It's
that
very
we're
irritating.
all the same. There's no different. We're all a bunch of whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Queers, queens, homos, moles, whatever you want to say.
Perverts, all that kind of stuff, And you just broke it down in terms of different types of LGBTQ, same-sex loving gays. Because the lesbian world is a totally different world
Absolutely.
from our world.
Absolutely.
And the ball scene you mentioned earlier is totally different from what we do. You know what I'm saying?
Not just that, their relationships last a lot better than ours. A lot better.
What do you mean? Explain that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't hear too much of they have issues, no different than any other couple, heterosexual or gay, but you don't hear too much coming from their realm. It's like they're a little bit more refined, relaxed. They talk about things, men with high octane and high fuel all the time. The testosterone is like a motherfucker sometimes. It is.
Like explaining that?
Sometimes I think that as men, same gender loving, we tend to forget that we are men and that sometimes we could be a little crass, we could be a little insensitive, we don't want to be wrong. And the only time we identify when we're men is when our tensions are flaring up and we at this point, at the breaking point, like, okay, fuck this shit. I'm on some nigga type shit now. And nothing gets done if we're both, on that level. Not many people are willing to compromise to understand that, like, hey, let's outside that, yeah, I am a man first, but guess what? I'm also a human being that has integrity and morals to know how to talk about my issues and find a solution. But not everybody comes like that. So, what up, Cortez?
Do you find many guys like yourself on your level in terms of just, dudes that are decent people?
No. I feel like, again, I'm still working on it. I feel like I'm kind of balanced, but there's still more work to be done. I'm still a work in progress. But either I find ones that are too extreme, either they're too overly aggressive and they go out of their way to try to say, yo, I'm that dude, I'm that nigga, versus they're the shy, timid type where they're afraid to show that they could be these things and they don't take pride in saying, I'm a dude, I'm a guy. Meaning that they want somebody else to dictate and tell them what to do and, basically be abrasive or rough with them and stuff. Like, the only way I'm going to be on my nigga shit or be a dude is for a dude who appreciates the fact that they know I'm a dude just as much as them, and we both challenge each other to want to be on the same level of being a guy without going beyond the Call of Duty, without being stereotypical. Just be yourself, be you.
Do you prefer someone in terms of dating to be the opposite of you or the same as you?
I would say more or less opposite. I would say similar mindset and mentality, but of course, be your own person. Arrive at your conclusions because you arrived there, not because I wanted you to arrive there. And we just happen to be driven and drawn to the same thing. That's usually how I feel connections work, even in the heterosexual sense. Like, nobody should want to be what I want them to be because I want them to be that.
You're not a controlling individual?
Hell no. That's not fun. I mean, I know I could dominate and control things. I wouldn't say jealous. I would say I identify more with envious, but I try to turn.
Wait. I gotta stop you. So explain that. That one got too quick.
All right, envious. Like, I might like certain qualities that certain individuals have that I myself don't possess. So I try to see what can I derive or what can I draw from them and transform it into my own. If I could, then I'm no longer envious because I already got what I needed. And
this is a sexual partner I'm talking about, not a stranger. You want a sexual partner. You want somebody, in terms of a sexual partner, you want somebody to be like you or opposite. That's what I'm talking about, not a stranger.
Similar as to what would connect us, but opposite in a way of what we're driven by. But yet we still find ourselves arriving at the final destination. I don't care how they get there. They can get there their own way. As long as they arrive at the same destination that I arrive, I'm cool with that.
So you wouldn't, in terms of being, let's say you're a boss, right? A CEO, you're more of the free-spirited CEO in terms of your workers. Let's go back to, I'm just gonna call it the zone, okay? The zone. That's how code works today. So if you are running the zone, You as a owner, manager, CEO, will run it totally different from EJ Parker.
Well, I'm my own person. I mean, I would borrow things from you because there's a certain criteria that you did and ethics that I did like, and that's what I said. That's why I feel like, as far as you being a mentor or a teacher, when you did that, like, I'm gonna use your terms. These other cocksuckers out here who aren't doing the right thing and know how to give our people the correct things to do it. Let's just say I would make you proud because I would know what to bring to make it prevalent that your vision reach somebody who could actually make it happen.
That's for the consumer. How about the workers? How would you oversee? Do you believe your workers have a free hand, or do you more? Here's the rules. Follow the rules from 1 to 100. What's your personality as a Taurus?
Follow the rules from 1 to 100.
You're just as bad as an Aries then.
Well, I learned from the best, but you guys are good leaders. I give you that. And here's my point. I learned what mistakes not to make from watching you guys. I learned what I need to do, like as far as if I need to improve and pick up the pace on things, I would definitely do that so I can be an effective leader. But I want my team to be loyal in the sense of they could do the right thing when necessary, but then they could also keep everything together, even if I'm not there. I mean, I don't have to be there to micromanage to make sure that they do things.
Oh, so you're not a micromanager?
No.
Whereas I can't speak for all Aries.
No.
I can speak for myself. I'm a micromanager.
I only micromanage when it comes to if my emotions are involved. If we're talking about partnership. Oh wait, but
talking about money.
Now, money wise,
no, I'm saying,
I don't need
dealing with business.
I don't need to micromanage. No,
you would trust. You can step away and let these people run your business.
I would make sure I handpick my team thoroughly, and I'm really efficient with that. Thoroughly picking the people who's going to do things.
No, we're going totally off the topic.
But yeah, we talking about business. I mean, I don't mind.
So, but how would you even find these individuals? I'm just curious as to, because I'm just going back to my own experiences.
Remember when you told me that thing about being No. It's something general.
Okay.
When you told me about being book and street smart and being cutthroat. Remember, I said I have a blend of all of those. Okay. So I could look at somebody and could tell based on the ethics if they would be able to do the job versus they're just going to do whatever the hell they think they want to do. No, I don't have no time for those kind of individuals who think that, okay, yeah, I'll do this, but as soon as you go away, I'm just going to do this my way. Then I'm going to get rid of that ass real fast.
I'm going to ask this question to the public. If people want to answer it on social media, feel free. The question was, are you a smart individual? That's 1. Or are you a cutthroat individual? That's 2. Or are you, number 3, cutthroat and smart? 1, are you smart? This as a business person. This is as business. Maybe in life too. I would just say life and business under one umbrella. Life and business. Are you a smart individual with no street, whatever, right? Just smart, right? Are you a cutthroat, and all you know is cutthroat, street, and you have really no smarts. That's number 2. And number 3, you're both smart, meaning book smart, college smart, high school smart, and you're also street smart with cutthroat. So you're both. Now, just to give you an example, Lucky Luciano from the Mafia was both smart and cutthroat. Carlo Gambino from the Mafia was both.
Oh, I thought he was just cutthroat.
No, that's Carlo Gambino was both smart and cutthroat. That's why Lucky took it over to him.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
that's the person to lead.
Vito Genovese of the Genovese crime family, he was just cutthroat, right? And Frank Costello was just smart. No cutthroat, wasn't a killer. He was just a smart businessman, dealt with the politicians, paid off the judges, the cops, the commissioners. He was just smart. So if you want to contribute to this conversation, just jot down there which one are you, 1, 2, or 3. We're going to tell you guys what we are in a minute. I know what I am.
Thank you, Carl. I appreciate it, man.
So should we mention to the world who we are? I'll start first then. Okay, one more time. Go through it one more time. At the top of the hour. Number 1, smart. Number 2, cutthroat. Just pure street, cutthroat. And number 3, both. Street and smart. Cutthroat being street. Cutthroat and street, the same thing. Cutthroat and street, the same thing. And then smart. Number 3, you're both. Number 2, just cutthroat and street, which is the same. And number 1 is just smart. I myself, for all my life, was just smart. I wasn't cutthroat and I wasn't street smart. I wasn't both, unfortunately.
This is why I say I find it so hard to believe when you tell me stories about you walking to the YMCA in Harlem when, back when you was just had a nice little twinkle in your eye. I find it hard, especially with the kind of people you ran around with, you organizing teams and stuff. Like, how would you not able to get the kind of cutthroat mentality or she's smart? Sometimes you kind of come off, but in a good way. You come off on a positive way, more so than the stereotypical the net way or being a gangster. Like, you seem like to have that. That's how I picture you. But then you lean more towards being smart and book smart, more so.
Where did you pick it up when you first met me?
I would say yeah, and then of course over the years, and then from talking to you, I would say that more.
Is that it like?
Yep. Yes, it is.
Now you do it.
Yep.
Got it.
Well,
Help out with please. Don't go nowhere. We're coming to pick it up. We're trying to get this new phone system here.
All right, go ahead, call it. Yep.
Yo, what's up, yo? This Warbucks.
Yo, what up, Warbucks? What am I, G?
See, wait, Warbucks, wait. Yeah, but hold on. See, that's why I got on your case 2 weeks ago. You got the kids saying that crazy Martin Lawrence.
No, I don't got the kids saying that. They got themselves saying that.
Let them know, Warbucks.
Martin Lawrence still come on. You know what I mean?
Yes, he do.
But your kids are so smart. They don't need that negativity, in my opinion. But I'm not a father. You're the dad.
What's negative about saying what's up?
It's just,
that's what black people do all day.
But no, we okay. Yes. You know what's so funny? And I'm not. This is a true story. This is a true story. Now, when I was growing up, everybody would say, "What's happening? What's happening, brother? What's happening?" And to me, because I'm an Aries, I wanted to be different. I started to say, "What's up?" Not what's up. I'm not gonna say I've invented it, but I didn't go crazy like Martin and go, "What's up? What's up?" he just.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
Hold that thought. Well, you just keep talking on the radio, though. But hold my thought, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're here on DNAradio.net. This is BU and BUNation.net with your host, Rockman in the house, in the building. Who's this? Yes, sir.
I want to show to me and my brother. Our birthday was September 17th.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday.
September 17th? Is it past?
Yeah, it's fast.
Oh, well, happy birthday, young man. Happy birthday.
I wonder what that.
How old are you now?
8.
Okay,
Oh,
big 8. Okay.
Years, from 5 to 8. Wow. Okay. Now, 8-year-old kids are smart.
Yes, they are.
One of my nephews was 8 when I met him. Very, very smart.
I like the little boy.
What do you say?
He said all kids are smart, right? Then let them know.
Okay,
you guys are definitely smart. You guys know some things.
That's good to know. All kids are smart. Thank you. Thanks for calling. So Warbucks, what's going on? Oh, he stepped away still? Where's Warbucks?
Yeah, he stepped away.
He stepped away. Okay, so we're here with you. So how's football this year?
Oh, that's very good. I like it. I'm playing with a new team.
What position do you play? What position?
So, running back.
Running back.
Oh, man.
Okay. Now you know O.J. Simpson was a running back. You know that, right? And Jim Brown too. Jim Brown.
Yeah, but the difference between them, they ain't gonna have no white woman.
You bad, Warbucks. You bad.
Get down there in Georgia.
They got their white woman. It's all good, man. You know what I mean? Just a Martin Luther King on it, so it is what it is. You know.
Well, you can't really. Yes, sir. What did he say?
What you gotta say, man?
I want to speak like those.
Oh, shit. Come on, man. Leave that alone, man.
What did he say?
Yeah, go ahead. He said you gonna have 3 white girls.
Well, people, you can't blame.
Long as they got the chips, right? DNA, long as they company owners and CEOs.
Yes, make sure they're big chips. You're talking big chips.
Well, you can't control who fall in love with. You know what I'm saying?
You can't control it.
True indeed. True indeed.
When I was little, she said it don't matter what nationality they are, just as long as they treat you good. You feel me? And that's real. As long as they treat you good, as long as they love you, you know, he or she, for all the people that's listening, and as long as they love you, man, that's all that matters, man.
Yes. Now
You know
that's
what I mean? Treat you like a king, treat you like a queen, that's all that matters, man. Because love comes in the strangest places.
yes, and we need to teach the next generation that. Absolutely, man. We need to teach.
That's a fact. They don't take check, please.
Is that one person talking or both of them talking?
It was both of them.
Oh, no, just one. Now, the other boy, he with his mother.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, he had to be with her today. But,
Okay. So what's on your mind, Mr.
I was calling in DNA. I heard your little, what you were saying. Are you smart? Are you street smart? Or are you cutthroat?
Okay, wait. It was three things. Smart.
Okay.
That's book smart, just smart. No street, nothing, just smart. Then there's just a cutthroat. Street, cutthroat. No book smarts. You don't think about it, you just do it. Cutthroat.
What is your cutthroat? See, I'm kind of confused with the street and cutthroat. I think street and cutthroat is totally different.
Nah, I think it's the same thing. It's the same to me.
No.
Well, let me.
Because you know why I did that?
Okay, go on.
Let you finish. Okay, this is why I say it's different. Because I'm book smart and I'm street smart, but I'm not cutthroat.
Well, then you're number three. You're number three. Oh, you're not cutthroat. You're not cutthroat.
I was in the street. I was in the street heavy, but I never was a cutthroat as.
I get you, Warbucks. I totally feel you on that.
My thing is cutthroat. That's a backstabber. That's my thing.
No. Cutthroat do it in front of your face. Backstabber do behind your back.
No, but it's still the same.
Nah, it's a big difference. Big difference.
He'll do it behind your back, but he'll still cut your throat.
No. Let me explain the difference. Suge Knight. Wait. Hear it out. Suge Knight, cutthroat, right in your face. Russell Simmons, Leo Cohen, Andre Harrell, backstabbers. Big difference. Big difference.
It's the same meaning, DNA, but they just do it in two different styles.
They're different extremes,
You know what I mean?
Well, the results might be the same.
So they won't come back to them. Some people just straight raw and do it in front of your face. Like me, I'm a street smart. I'm very street smart, and I'm very book smart. You feel me? Because I like to read. I like to learn new things. And
What's up?
I never was a cutthroat.
Okay.
Because the cutthroat is a shifty motherfucker.
Exactly.
That'll do anything to get what he wants.
And no questions asked. If somebody says, "Yo, go blast that nigga right there," they don't ask the questions. They just do it.
They'll do it in front of you or behind your back.
Right. And the reason.
As long as the situation, it depends on the situation. You know, I mean, some people are more outgoing, where they cut your throat right in front of your face, take money in front of your face, like fuck you, nigga, response.
Exactly.
Some people are still behind your back when you ain't looking at, just dip out a little couple hundreds out your little thing, out your little safe, so you won't notice. You know what I mean? But I just never been, even though I was a street dude on the streets hustling and all that, I was always a good person. You feel me? Like, it was rules and class to this. That's how I was, you know what I mean? I guess that's my family upbringing. You feel me? Regardless of what you're doing. I mean, the streets, wasn't the family upbringing, but handling yourself with class and dignity and integrity, that's always been me. Like, so
it's the Taurus way.
I took that to on the streets. Like Alpo. Okay, we gonna use Alpo AZ and Rich Porter. Alpo was a cutthroat ass motherfucker. He didn't give a fuck. But AZ, he wasn't cutthroat. He'd put people on, AZ DNA.
Right.
Yeah. Doing show business, and let's get it out there. Let's the world listening. He know him personally for throwing parties, and his group at the time, Mobstyle, was opening up, performing. You know what I mean? So you got to clarify that for people that's listening in that they think he was doing business with them in that form, in that shape or form. But no,
being cutthroat over. No, I totally agree with you on that.
Like a few $100, okay. Me, I'll cut him off.
Yeah.
Okay. If he took a few $1,000 here, imagine if millions was on the table. So you know what? Let me get rid of him. Maybe he needed that money more than I did. So, but I'm just now you at arm's length. Every time I see you, I got nothing to say. You know, it's no words. It's no oh, I'm sorry. None of that. It's just straight. You just cut off, man. I cut you off like I cut the lights off.
And I tell him, well, Bucks, that's the worst thing you could do is be on the receiving end of that on the Taurus, because we'll give you anything, but once you cross that line, you're done. You are done. Finished.
How my boy Black Jesus used to say, it's a Reynolds. And you're like, what's a Reynolds? A Reynolds rap. It's over. A rap. There's nothing you can say. Like, that's one thing about the Taurus people, DNA. All my lives, Taurus people are generous. Like, we give you our heart, yo. We say you our brother. We your boy. We be your boy. Be your brother. Oh, you my woman. It's all good. But once you speak this that one time, it's over. It's no more talking. I don't want to hear nothing now. You cutthroat me. You backstab.
You don't even exist no more.
That's it. You don't even exist no more. I don't even know who I'm talking to.
So would it
Do I
be?
know you from somewhere?
Would it be easy, Warbucks? Would it be easy to do the same to a family member, son, daughter, child, cousin, nephew? Is it the same way to just lights off? That's it.
I mean, you can do it. Some people do it. But it'll be hard being at family reunions. So like if you ain't speaking to somebody, like you said, say a cousin of you. Just say a cousin. Your first cousin, y'all was cool, y'all was younger. And
You caught him screwing your wife. You caught him screwing your wife. You didn't know nothing about it until later on.
If I call him screwing my wife,
just cut him off, right?
Fuck them and fuck that bitch. Most people gonna stay with the bitch and cut the cousin off. It's both of y'all done.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, both parties are guilty equally.
That's what Taurus. That's how Taurus do it.
Because it takes two to tango.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't take it from you. He
And
didn't open.
they both should have known better.
From you. Now, both equally, you let him in your world. You feel me? And he let you in his world. So y'all might as well stay together. You know what I mean? And there ain't gonna be no retaliation. It ain't gonna be no.
It's not worth the energy.
None of that. It just feel a little awkward at family functions and shit. Cause you know how family is. It be the aunties, the uncles. Oh, y'all so close when y'all was little. I need to get over this. See, that's the only way it would be kind of awkward at family functions. But other than that, I ain't got nothing to do. I ain't got nothing to do with you. My wife opened her legs for you. She wasn't worth it anyway. So thank you for taking that headache off my head. You feel me? She's a headache. And I got a friend like that, DNA.
No names.
I ain't gonna say no names. He's in Iowa though. But he was married with 4 kids, right? He went to California to chase his dreams with his wife. You know, the kids stayed back in Iowa with the grandmother. They was out there, he was out there, you know, going to the radio station. He hooked up with one of his cousins out there that was from there. They was close as kids in childhood and went out there, stayed with him, you know what I mean, was going on these interviews and shit, you know, for months. And then like after like he said like about the 3rd month, his wife started acting funny towards him. Like he'd go do an interview, right? And they usually come up with him, but his cousin was like, oh, I'm tired, I'm just gonna sit in the car. And then his wife would be like, yeah, I'm just gonna stay down here. And so they went back to Iowa, you know, after he didn't take nothing because he's like, oh, this is my first cousin, you know, we cool, we like brothers. So he went back to Iowa. He went to work one day. He came home, the kids was left in the house, and she went to California and left a note talking about, oh, me and your cousin, when we got out there, having sex, and that's why I was so awkward. So she left him.
And left the kids in?
Left the kids with him. He was stressed out for about a month. She came back like, I'm sorry, I apologize. He's like, all right, don't do it again. So they was chilling for about a week. And then one day he went to work again, came back, there was another letter on the bed, and she took the kids with her to California to live with this man, got a divorce from him, and married his cousin. So now he go to family functions, they be together, he ain't see his kids, they come to the reunion, his kids grown now, they was little at the time. So now they grown, they don't want nothing to do with their father, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
That's messed up.
If she see him saying him that bullshit, so she won't look like the victim. She left him for your cousin, had a baby and everything. So it's crazy. Now his kids is older, they don't want nothing to do with him, but they really don't know, and it's all girls. And one boy, and I told my boy, I said, yo, don't worry about it. When your son get old enough, because his son's about 15 now, he don't understand. But once he get in his 21, 22, 23, he gonna realize it, and he gonna want to.
He may understand it now, because I'll tell you one thing, people don't give kids enough credit to know shit, especially stuff like that secretly happen in your family. They may not understand it right then and there, but trust me, they know things. They'll put the pieces together, and if nobody tells them, they'll come to their own conclusion, and they'll be spot on. They'll be spot on.
Well, maybe the female had more needs than the individual was able to satisfy. Maybe
communicate.
I mean, it's that. So probably you. Maybe the cousin was taking the shit out of her. But that's no excuse. You know what I mean? Basically, you met a whore, man. That's all it was.
Wow.
You met a whore, you married the whore, you got with your cousin, and now your cousin is married to a whore. So,
you crazy, Warbucks.
I cannot be in that situation. I thank God I'm not in that
I refuse to be. Listen, I refuse to.
I refuse to be in that situation, and I thank God for making me strong enough to jump these bitches when they act up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And don't just run out of peace out. Hit them with the Cam from Martin. You feel me? Yeah, but I was just chiming in on that DNA. I just feel that a book smart, street smart, cutthroat is three different things. Some people, and then you can have the fourth one, which is all the above. You know what I mean? But me, I'm just first and second. Smart, book smart, and I'm street smart.
I'm only one thing. Book smart.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I like to hear. All right, young blood.
and that's well, because I don't want you to be street smart, because I could have been not here right now. So God bless me. My grandmother was praying. My granddaddy was praying. My moms, my aunties, and uncles was praying for me. And everybody else was praying for me. But I can tell this story now. And I'm 19, going on 20.
Real talk. Let them know.
Nah, I ain't gonna say my age, but I'm up there. I'm grown with two grown kids. One grown kid and two boys is getting grown. So, God bless me, man. I thank you, Jesus, my black Jesus. I thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. I thank you, Jesus, for blessing my life and saving me. You know what I mean? Because I could have been like a lot of my friends are dead, and a lot of my boys that's locked up from the streets. You know what I mean, DNA? So
yes, sir.
God is good all the time, and I'm going to call in later, and I'm chiming in. I always checking out DNAradio.net.
And check out the Cool Cooking Club
on YouTube. Yeah, you dig. I'm going to call back in. Blessings to you, Rockman. Blessings to you.
All right, Warbucks. Appreciate it always, my brother.
Where's what's up? What's up?
What up?
Oh, my pretty Wiz. What
Ah.
But yeah, we out here, yo.
All right.
Thanks for calling.
I'm tuning in. I'm always tuned into DNAradio.net. Yo.
Thank you.
All right, again. We're here live. Call us. Our number is 917-727-8020. Again, that number is 917-727-8020.
Okay, so now we have 4 categories. The only reason I was using 3 categories because Lucky Luciano, the one of the founding fathers of the modern mafia, he was using those three categories in his we call it documentary. So there's a fourth category. Thank you very much, Warbucks, for that. Okay, we went off topic from sex to dealing with human nature.
Cutthroat. And business also is good to kind of get a little business talk in every now and then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. I also want to give you, gentlemen who's tuning in, a friendly reminder that our show's audio and sound quality is much clearer and sound much better if you tune into us on the radio right now at DNAradio.net. That's DNAradio.net, all around the world.
Yes, any special activity on social media? Want to shout anybody out over there?
So far, I think pertaining to the topic, Garrick said he's both. I guess he's saying he's street smart and he's book smart.
Okay.
We're going to eliminate cutthroat for the time being.
Well, no, just add a fourth category. Okay, I think it's needed.
But I don't think very many people could identify with cutthroat. Because now that I think about it, when I hear cutthroat, I'm thinking about like a hired goon, like, you know what, I need you to go collect my money, go knock on so-and-so's door and get my money. Since you're just brains, you would get somebody else to do the heavy cutthroat stuff like that, because I don't have it in me to want to be on that type of. Now, my ethics could be, if you fuck up, I cut you off and you're done. I'll be cutthroat like that, but not in the sense of
that's
like.
Not real cut. That's not the definition I was trying to put out there. The cutthroat is a cutthroat. That's their job, cutthroat. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. And backstabbers, to me, I was talking to this record promoter, and he was explaining the difference between a backstabber and a cutthroat. Whereas a backstabber whisper, do things behind your back. But a cutthroat would do it in your face.
They'll tell you to do something like, I support you. When you're doing it, they'll just throw you under the bus, and it's like, what is he doing? I didn't know that was.
Smile on your face and scream behind your back. That's the backstabber. Mm-hmm. Whereas a cutthroat,
they set you up.
You'll see their deep, their devilish eyes. And just cut
they want to screw you over. They live for it.
Exactly. And thank God I am not any of those.
Neither.
Thank God. Okay.
All right. What up, Alexi, Mr. Diaz, and I saw Dexter. I didn't get a chance to acknowledge you, gentlemen, before you come in, but thank you for tuning in. I'm also gonna.
We left out the transsexual thing. Something about saying transsexual.
I'll go back to the last one. Okay. Is there a difference in mentality between homosexual men, gay men, bisexual men, transgender men, asexual men, or pansexual men? As I stated, like I said, the only thing I feel all of these men have in common is that men are their choice, whether for relationships, emotionally, as a partner, companionship, or even sexually. That's the only thing that those men have in common. But what they want to do with them, how they envision themselves with it plays out different for the individual. And I think a lot of times it goes without being discussed or talked about as to how each individual identifies or how they feel like they fit on the spectrum. And when you identify and say how you feel in the spectrum, it tends to leave a bad taste in other people's mouths because they're there instead of saying, hey, that's not for me. But that's not saying that I can't choose to understand why you decide to want to be there. You know what I'm saying? I like to know these things based on, educational and informational purposes as to how different other people are compared to me in this particular walk.
Well, I know we discussed this before about the pansexual and asexual. I still don't understand the pansexuals, but I was discussing this with an associate and also with two associates. One was in the medical profession, and she was saying that asexual is nothing but masturbating. What's your opinion about the asexual? I thought asexual, the dude, there was two people. One was a female, one was a dude. No, but the dude said asexual is no sex.
Yeah, they don't have because they still pleasure themselves, but they're just not interested in doing it with another person. Meaning that
she's right. Like she was right.
They both were kind of right. But is what both of them said. It was both of what they said combined. That's what they sexual.
He said you don't have sex at all. And
but it could be like that.
Saying, an asexual pleasures themselves masturbating. But he was saying neither one.
Well, he probably was one of those that was not interested, but he would still be considered asexual too. But they both were right.
So you're gonna be both.
Yeah.
Asexual does.
They could either choose to masturbate or they could choose not to do anything sexual based at all, whether it's with themselves or anybody. Period. But they still require the emotional connection as far as like, oh, about being dating and romance. Like, I still would like to go out to eat dinner with you and stuff like that. Do things that normal couples do. I still have this sense of wanting to be wanting and desire. It's just that when it comes time for sexual things, it's just not going to happen.
Oh, but they'll hang out with you, but they don't want.
They still want the satisfaction of saying, "Oh, I could be in a relationship and still be wanted or desired, like being in a relationship." The same way you or I would want to be, but they just don't want no sexual or physical contact of that nature. All I can say was I know what it is. I just don't understand how somebody could want to feel that way.
So they can sleep in bed with you, but don't want to have sex with you. It's not that. Does that mean the person's not their type?
No.
The person is their type.
They're just not interested in having any kind of sexual contact.
Are they capable? Are they like too old?
And you would have to talk to that particular individual, and I think it's something different. But then it's like splitting hairs. All I can say is that individual doesn't have a sex drive.
That's back to your testosterone.
Testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
That's a chemical that's more prevalent in males, but women have it too.
But can't you buy that stuff?
Oh, they have things that could boost testosterone. Yeah.
What's that one? Estrogen?
Estrogen.
That's what?
It's in us too, but it's more prevalent in women because that's the hormones for them to do certain things. More so when it comes time for like childbirth and all that stuff. They need that type of chemical or that hormone to produce mass quantities of during that time.
Well, I know we're not film, food, and more, but in terms of vitamins and certain foods, you can boost your sex.
You would have to read in it. You would definitely have to be into like nutrition and stuff. But there are foods that they do associate as to what would boost either chemical you might want more.
It's not rumor and fairy tale. It's actually true stuff.
Yeah, it's chemicals.
They say dark chocolate. You believe that?
I don't know. Because chocolate could be aphrodisiac for some people.
That's what I'm looking for. Thank you.
Yeah. I believe white chocolate is an aphrodisiac for me. I can't say it's for anybody else, but for some reason I get extra excited and ready to break things apart when I get that in my system.
Where do you get white chocolate from?
Anything. You can go to a store and buy it. You can buy a Nestle Crunch white chocolate bar or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. There's just something in white chocolate does something to me. That's all I can say.
It's not the sugar?
I don't know what it is. Maybe because of what it's created with, the way I let it melt in my mouth and accentuate, and of course the sweetness. I mean, I got a hot mouth, so
that is so funny.
Garrick says asexual is one who has no sexual feelings or desires. Yes, but they still desire the attentiveness of having a partner around, even though that partner is not going to fulfill a sexual or a sexual role or desire for you. They just want a mate, but without sex.
They wouldn't be good customers for the zone, would they?
Nah.
Oh well, maybe it is.
Well, no, they wouldn't come. No, an asexual person would not go to a place like that because it's something that derives sex, and they know that people would more or less try to gravitate towards them, and to rather than have to tell 90,000 people, no, I'm not interested. I'd rather just not put myself in a position where people could ask or request sexual, fantasies or desires with me.
So wouldn't they enjoy the camaraderie, just being around?
Yeah, that's that. You would think they would, but they realize I don't know what it is, because sometimes I've heard, and I've yet to experience it, but I've heard and I've seen scenarios where they would trick a person who has a sex drive, like you or myself, and they would give you the illusion that they want something of that nature, but they don't. But they would find ways to kind of creatively push it off, and you would think that it's something else when you would try to find a solution to that problem, and unfortunately, that solution ain't going to work because that's not the actual issue. So you don't know what you're dealing with. So some people tend to walk into situations dealing with asexual individuals, and because for the most part, most people aren't going to want to deal with an asexual. If you think about it, if an asexual person came to you right now and said, hey, I want to deal with you, and you come to realize what an asexual person is just from this conversation right now, I don't think you're going to sign up for that. To not have any kind of sexual outlet, that person's not going to allow you to be that. And they're going to still want to confine you the way, if you're in a relationship with somebody, they still require you, yes, you're going to have to still be faithful to that person.
But is that, wait, so an asexual can actually fall in love?
Yeah. Just no sex. They still require the same things you and I require, just no sex.
So if we gave an event like that, then the cops can't close us down because nothing's going on here.
Now you're splitting hairs and you looking for trouble now. Yeah, you got to push the issue at some point. I mean,
let's cater to that crowd too.
What do they do? Just go to a club or a bar, because you're not required to. You have your clothes on. You can just go there and talk to the individual. But the thing is,
I would think a bar, you're there to pick up somebody for that one night.
No, some people go there to have fun and they're not interested in trying to go home with somebody. I had to learn that because my mentality when I used to go to clubs and bars when I was in my early 20s, I went there for how many numbers, who can I link up with, who's trying to take me home, or who can I go home with, And I realized.
Wait. Hold on. You mean to tell me you didn't want just one person to go home with? You wanted to collect as many numbers as you want?
That was me at one point, yeah.
I'm just saying, why not just I want to meet one person and that person went home tonight with?
That when I was unrefined and didn't have a criteria as to where I would go towards, I was like that. I remember I went to Crash when Crash used to be in Queens. I went there and had the time of my life. I done at least got like 40 numbers from different people. Like a few of them I did.
They gave you the number, or you?
Yeah, they gave me the number. Well, I mean, some of them gave me, some of them I asked, like, yo, like I'm definitely trying to link up with you.
You would stay out in Crash. Crash wasn't the typical place you would be.
A person like me would be, yeah.
Exactly. So you would stand out.
No, but I mean, like, where else would somebody who would want to go to exercise their liking or attraction to men if not everything is going to cater to, that individual to feel comfortable, to feel at ease, to feel at home, like, I mean, I had people at the door like, this is a gay club, right? I'm like, okay, yeah, and let me in this shit. Like, I don't like, this is why I'm here. I want to check out the dudes. Like, what the fuck?
So with 40 numbers, would you actually remember who number 32 was? How they look?
Listen, this is my early 20s. I'm 37 now, so I want to know if these people exist even.
I don't mean right now. I mean back then. You got 40 numbers on the
Listen, out of all the 40, I was happy at least if 4 or 5 of them acted right where I could actually, okay, boom. You know what I'm saying? To me, I was just compensating in case people.
You can give your own party with 40
but think about it. It's like a lotto. Okay, you might call this number. This person might be full of crap. So next one. You know what I'm saying? That was just my way of sifting through, dealing with the bullshit of who's wasting my time or who's about it, or who's about that life.
So you just called them one time, either you're in or you're out. That's it?
I just saw what they were, or I set up, hey, what you doing? Let's hang out or chill. I'll see what you're about. One-on-ones is the best way that I feel you could see a person for who they really are versus when they're in a crowd or a group of people.
Would they remember you? You called them 2 weeks later?
A lot of people were like, I was waiting for you to call. Like, I mean, I think we all have that kind of thing. Even when it comes in the heterosexual thing, like you would think that if you were a dude and you got like 3 or 4 chicks' phone numbers, you would hope that you would definitely call the one you would definitely like the most, who you would want to actually spend that time with and see what she's about. And
you know what I'm saying? How would you know who's who? You write notes on the back of it?
No, they just say their name and stuff. I mean, granted,
I had a system. I would rate them from 1 to 10.
No, that's wrong. That's for you. I'm not gonna knock you, but I would say that's wrong.
You got 40 numbers. How would you know who's who?
Usually I know because let's just say if 5 people give me their number, out of 5, I can narrow down to 2 of who I would definitely know just from looking at the paper and seeing their name. And I put it away. I would know. Okay, I want to talk to Giselle because they left the impression on you. Like out of all the people, out of 20 people, I want to talk to her the most. And I would definitely remember. I would remember somebody who I would want to, who I feel is more appealing to get my attention, my focus, and it's my job. I wouldn't want to think, oh, you got like 40 different numbers. Oh, that's probably your other dude or your other girl you're talking to. Da da da. No, sweetie, the emphasis and the spotlight's on you. Now, if you're not interested, or you give me the runaround, or you make me try harder than necessary, then yeah, I'll forget you and go on to the next number. but that's the only reason why I had that many options. But then having too many options could be a bad thing too.
Is there a rating system at all? Once you encounter, once you engage, whatever it is.
I wouldn't say rating system. It's just that who stood out the most.
I used to have a rating system.
If you stood out the most, then 9 out of 10, you were the first person on my list who I would call.
I want to create an app and a database with my rating system and sell it to the world. Because it's a rating system too.
All right, Garrick says he's talking about asexual. He says they're capable, but the way asexuals are wired, it's rare. And then he also says, why? Because it's white and creamy. Oh, he's talking about my white chocolate thing. No, it's just the texture. Like, I like all kinds of chocolate too. I like milk chocolate better than I like dark chocolate. But dark chocolate has this thing. Like, sometimes I get my fix where I want nothing but dark chocolate.
What does it do to you?
It's just the way. I mean, food. Period. It's like
Food is an aphrodisiac?
I wouldn't say that. I just good eating with certain good things. It's like, you know, you get back what you put in. Like, you put something good in, you get something good out of it.
So would weed be an aphrodisiac for you?
No, I enjoy smoking weed, but I don't consider it an aphrodisiac. Like, I don't need it to have any kind of desire. Like, I could have it. I don't even need alcohol. Alcohol just boosts and enhances my sexual desires. That's, you know, but other than that, I don't need liquor to do things. In fact, if that's your thing, I'll let you get a nice liquor, but I'm not gonna let you get too much where you can't do anything, because then you're no fun if you just laying there.
What about in your youth, when dirty old men, let's say, will give you some weed to get the party started?
All right, I'll smoke your weed then, but don't be expecting much, because that's not.
Weed it up, that's the term.
Oh no, weed it up didn't get me like that. It never changed or altered my state to want to, you know, get like that. The only thing that could alter my state at that point is the individual.
So you never. Well, I can't answer the question for you. Just put it out there. So have you ever had a playmate who said, "I need some St. Ives, some old English back in the day. They need that first before they get involved."
Then definitely not for me. Now, there's a difference between enjoying it while you're doing it versus, oh, you need it to get started. I can understand if you say you need it to get started if somebody is paying you for your services and you don't, you know, regularly engage.
No pay, just okay.
But that's the only way I could see that scenario working.
Down low, and then that used to, you know, being picked up by dudes. But in order to get
then why are you here? Like,
but you gave me some St. Ives. I got a little St. Ives in me. Maybe I might open my.
Then for that case, I might as well deal with somebody who wants to get paid for their services. At least I could get better service out of them than you.
But then it's still, again, they're just doing it for the pay. Whereas the person, you give them the little booze or the weed.
But you're still paying for it.
No. Okay, see, if you give them the weed, all the St. Ives, liquor, whatever you call it, right? They're now open. They just need to get relaxed. But they're not looking for a payday.
The only way that scenario actually pans out is if there are people who do more than just weed and liquor. And you know what I'm talking about, the ones that you don't like, that it's into the extra stuff. They need that type of stuff to get started.
Yeah, once you go past weed, that's like,
it's a waste, exactly.
Stay away from me.
What up, Jamel? What up, Twin?
But I know I keep taking you off your topic.
No, but those type of individuals, they require that magical wonder, you know, thing to get started. And to me, that's like a complete turnoff, because even when they get that stuff, they might be enthused or able to perform for like the first 4 minutes. Then after that, it's like dead sitting. It's like you're the one doing all the work, and it's like you're over it. Then that lingering bad smell, especially when that shit gets into your pores and you sweat that out, and you're trying to get involved, but you're really not there. It's like you're physically you're there, but mentally, spiritually, you're not there. You're somewhere else because the drug is, you know, taking place. Like, I'm not here for that. Like, I don't need those things. Like, I could do fantastic without any kind of stuff. I'm not. My drug and my fix comes from the individual before me.
It has to be just that one, not two, not three.
I mean, the old me would have been like, you know, but at the end of the day, there can only be one. I only because I like to focus, and if I'm going to put my energy in something, I can't divide myself into three people who could perform and give equal people attention and stuff. Like there's only one me.
Okay, suppose there's 4 of you. All 4 of you, attractive dudes. That wouldn't.
I tell you, like I said, I evolved. My mentality went to out of the 4 people, I'm gonna find one the most attractive. That's who I'm gonna give my all of my focus and my attention.
But it's not that kind of party. Don't go to fall in love here.
It's not about falling in love. It's about. I'm selfish. I want that all to me. I don't want to share this with nobody else. This
is a non-selfish party.
Then I can't participate then because I'm selfish. I'm selfish.
Secretary, take him off the list.
All right, the secretary is cute, or like we said, like think about it. What about that nice gentleman we saw at Schoenberg when we went to the thing the first time?
I've seen 30 more since then.
I know you have, but that one in particular, like that one. I wouldn't share him with nobody else.
That was good for that one night, probably.
Regardless of that one night, guess what? It's all about me. It's all about me. Like I get shortchanged to the point, and again, like I said, I create the energy that when it comes to sex, people want me. They don't want to share me with nobody else.
I could have been a lover for you. Don't say we met him no more.
No. I don't even say that. Like I could date or do that, or I could just be happy with just a toy. I mean, to me, a toy is somebody like I respect you.
You about your age,
more or less, yeah.
So you're both each other's toy.
Yeah, and I don't mind. Like I said, I could be the perfect friends with benefit. I don't have to. Okay. I don't like when people tend to think that like, oh, you just about this about relationship, da da da. No, it ain't about happily ever after and all that shit. I mean, I'm all about romance and stuff, but that comes natural if I'm really vibing and feeling that person. I can be that person. You know what I'm saying? I have no, But if you don't come to the table with that, and depending on who you are and what I want from you, will determine which direction is going to, go. If it's just about sex and only sex, I could be just about sex, but then the sex is going to be limited.
Wait, you can't have romance in a binge with friends with benefits?
No, my romance dial is, no. It is.
Over here. Okay, it's on over there.
Yeah, it's just it's slow.
Still slow?
Yeah, I see it the way the camera's moving.
Okay, so can a friends with benefit situation be romantic?
With me, I can't speak for anybody else. I can only speak for myself. I don't see that happening because, like I said, I'm too passionate of an individual for just some average, mediocre fly-by. Okay, we freak off today, and then tomorrow we're off to the races, and we don't see each other no more.
But you're friends. You're not like your enemies. Like you're friends.
Again, like I said, to me, you keep forgetting what friends with benefits mean. Friends with benefits to me means we've already dealt. We tried it. We tried a relationship. It didn't work. We decided to be friends after that because we.
Wait, I need a clarification over here. Now, can you hear me? Does friends with benefits mean you were lovers at one time or just friends?
Just friends.
Right. You never loved, just friends. It was never lovers. You were just friends.
Like I said, that's not.
You were friends and you became a benefit. It was never you were lovely.
I've never had anybody who fit that criteria like that yet. But my friends with benefits were people who I've already dealt with in my past, and they already know they have the familiarity of having sex with me or enjoying some kind of sexual, thing with me. And they're single, I'm single, but we don't want a relationship because we tried it and it didn't work. But the sex is good. Like I'm not opposed to having sex with somebody who I've already established with because I know what I'm getting.
But you were already in a relationship.
Yeah, and that's what friends with benefit is. But then I also learned to adapt the new version that you guys brought up to me, but I've yet to meet somebody who we could be friends. Because to me, anybody who I decided to put in the friend zone, just like women, you're in the friend zone. I'm not thinking about sexually or anything like that, because if that's the case, then I'm going to find somebody who I am sexually attracted to, who I'm not trying to be friends with.
So you meet somebody who want to have sex with you. You tell them I'm asexual. That just cleans it up right
No. Most asexual people would never say that because then they realize they would not get a chance to spend time with that individual because they may see something within the individual, even though they don't want to have sex, but that they can't get from other people. You get what I'm saying? Like a connection. You can't get a connection with everybody who you find attractive. I'm talking about physical attraction, not sexual attraction, physical attraction. So with whatever that individual is giving out, why ruin it by telling them too quick without spending time getting to let them get to know you? Because maybe they may have room to accept an individual like you if you are, asexual. But then, like I said, I see asexual people tricking people because people aren't getting into situations not having sex. It's bad enough that most women come standardly with the, oh, you gotta wait 90 days before any kind of sexual thing happens.
That's women?
I can't say all of them are like that, but I would say from my limited experiences, that's what I've experienced so far.
That doesn't exist, I don't think, in the LGBTQ, gay, same-sex loving community.
You'd be surprised.
What, 90 days? Nigga, please.
I won't say necessarily 90 days. Sometimes a month or a week or two or a few weeks. I mean,
how about a couple hours after we met in the club?
No, but here's my point.
Like catch a cab, drive in the car, and bring them home.
Like I said, I changed. Like before, like I could do something.
Like
I could do something sexual, especially the first night. But if you want me to fucking is not happening. I'm gonna be honest. The only type of person I believe, and it's because you would think that I'm discriminating, but that's just how I feel. The only type of individual I feel like I could fuck on the first date or the first night is a woman.
Boring.
I mean, I only say that because I don't get the kind of quality women that I feel like is quality for me. And if a quality woman that I like comes to me and she's offering, I'm gonna take it. Like within the heartbeat, I'm on better eyelash. Like where can we go? I'm ready.
Well, I won't say where I met these two individuals the other day. I'm sure if you were there, you wouldn't mind bringing them back to our little playpen. I'm not sure what would have happened, but I'm sure you wouldn't have mind being in their surroundings in the same bed, but naked.
But both of them, I mean, why is there got to be multiple people? Why can't it just be?
Well, I mean, they both were cute. It was in a store. I think
I know what your problem is. Only because you haven't experienced the taste of actually having something that you can say is specifically for DNA and to your liking, and they want it to be for you for that. You don't know what it's like. So, and because
I'm like you, Hefner, remember Playboy? We like multiple choices.
I only like multiple choices if I can't have my preference of what I prefer, my preferred choice.
All these multiple choices would definitely be my preferences because we have such high quality.
What if you come to an individual like me? You said I'm a cutie and I like that. What if you with me? I'm like, no, you gotta get. I'm the type of person.
You're the one that's saying you don't want no playmate.
No, if I'm single and I can't have what I want, then I want multiple people. But if I have the choice, I'm still gonna go for my default, my preferences first of what I want. I gotta try to make that work first before I decide to say, okay, since I can't have that, then I'll have multiple playthings. Because
long-term relationships are overrated.
No, they're not.
I prefer friends with benefits. Booty call.
Why? Because there's no real responsibilities and stuff.
Well, no, it's just that. Well. Why are you laughing?
Because you're going to bring out the proclamation, man.
Well, don't get somewhere in the files. Well, see, I guess we have different, I guess our whatever, our life experience, let's say. Now, I prefer, just like going back the last 30 years, I prefer friends with benefits.
You said options, and it ain't nothing wrong with that. I said I've been down that road, and I've had that shirt before. I took it off and traded it for something else.
We just reversed. I think we reversed.
Yeah.
Your role was fun. My role was relationships, and now
Yeah, but you never tried one. That's so funny.
No, in my early years, I've had lovers.
See, now I got to listen to some of these stories because I've yet to hear. I've always thought DNA was about fun.
Oh no, that's the lady years. That's like 1990 to the present.
1990.
But before 1990 was serious relationships, which like it slows me down. You know what I'm saying? That's
because you did with the wrong individuals. That's like women saying, "Oh, all men are the same." No, the men you've been chosen that you're attracted to, they all have one thing in common. They all bring the same thing. That's why you think that way. So because of the type of men you're interested in, the type of men you want, that's the reason why men are all the same. Because in your eyes, that's what men need to be. And unfortunately, the men you're attracted to happen to have that quality or that trait. But then I can say that trickles down in our community as well. Go in any community, whether you're a female that wants another female, you're a guy who wants another dude. You know, it tends to be with the preferences of the people that you choose. And I say that, and I'll use myself as an example when it comes to dealing with women. Yeah, the women that I'm physically and sexually attracted to, unfortunately, they have a city girl mentality. Now, I don't choose them because they have that.
What's the city girl mentality?
You know, with that, they think that men are supposed to act a certain way and approach them this way, and this is what men do. And if you don't do this, then you're not a man that would get any kind of acknowledgement from her. And to me, like I said, it doesn't stop me from finding those type of women attractive. I just don't like their personality as to who they are and as to what they portray. And if I got to be this particular type of man to get her, then guess what? That woman's no longer a choice for me.
I have those same rules at times, I believe.
Well, what do you mean?
In terms of a certain type of person.
No, like, 'cause let's just say, for instance, if you're, what's the trait that I really don't like too much? Let's just say, if you're overly cocky, I really like this, especially with guys. I feel like.
But they're a nice person. So they're a nice.
But I wouldn't know that. But I can't tell that if that particular characteristics override all other characteristics. That's all I'm seeing. I look at people as television and channels. Can you change this to a different channel? Show me a different side of you, or is this if you're trying to use this to win me, then you lost me.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't. Now cockiness is not a bad thing. I feel like okay after
self-confidence. No, that's the
no. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. But if you show me what up, Majin? No, but if you show me the real you before you decide to show that you're overly confident or you got to overly compensate for something, show me the real you first before you show me that. Because then when I see that, then I can say, oh, you know what? I see you, like you said, I see you a cool, nice person. You're level-headed. You got a good heart. So that's more like an aesthetic that you could be like for instance, I could be a jokester or a clown. You know what I'm saying? Like, for the most part, I'm serious, but I have a good sense of humor and I could be very witty and sarcastic and say certain things that they would deliver like, how the fuck does nigga say that? But you laugh like, damn, he caught me off guard, like he did his homework. Like, I only show that side once I've established that I could be that part of me in front of you. But if you strike me off as somebody who's not like that, then I'll hold back. And how would I say? I'll give it to you in doses, or I'll find out what ticks and what works and what's necessary in the sense of, okay, how do you react? How do you respond? Okay, I see you as this particular personality type, so I could, if I have that in my belt, then I could be. I'll bring it to the table and be like, wow, how do you do it? Because I know how to be relatable. And it goes to show you that sometimes I say that certain individuals, certain people tend to be one-trick ponies where they want to be this to win that person over, but the individual who you're trying to win over isn't moved by that. So do you find out a way to adapt and adjust? Or do you just say, like how I say with certain individual types, if you're this way, I wouldn't say I write you off, but that's what it is. It's the truth. And once I see that that's the truth, I gotta choose to deal with it or don't deal with it. And usually I just choose not to deal with it, because rather than tell people that this and this bothers me, like, who am I? Like, you don't have to change anything for me. The best thing I could do in any situation like that is change myself. I can remove myself from the situation because I don't have to accept that.
Well, this is off topic. I'm looking at you on Facebook, you're on YouTube. You got some cute eyebrows.
Really?
Yeah, sexy.
Thank you, man.
What do you mean? You do nothing to it? Just,
no, that's natural.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I get it from my mom and my dad, so I thank them the best. And then, of course, I also want to give credence to how people, depending on how you make me feel, will determine what aspect comes out of me. Yeah, I tend to I manifest over things like that. So,
what's more important? I mean, if I get too personal, let me know. Say TMI. What's more important to you, success or love?
Now,
success in your profession, or whatever profession you choose to go into, business, whatever.
Now I would say a combination of both. I like confidence. Be confident in what you do, but I don't like to use the word success because success is overrated, and everybody has a different definition as to what
success being money, honey, money.
All right. Now, I like, if you're going to be money, I'd rather use the word productive. Be productive in what you do, whether you're going to be a construction worker or an electrician, or you want to be a plumber, a licensed plumber, a school teacher. Just be good at whatever it is you decide to take profession in. Just take pride in being the best you could be. I like confidence. I'm attracted to the confidence within people of who you are as a person, and it's solid. If you show me, and I look at it no different than leadership. If you show me faulty leadership, I'm not going to take you serious, and I'm not going to listen to anything you say.
Okay, let's see. I'm trying to get a good analogy here. Okay, 1 second, please. I can't explain it. It's in my head. I just can't explain it clear enough so people understand what I'm trying to say. So how's the social media?
Well, I think I know what you're trying to say. In success, you want to say, would you rather love or somebody who's financially stable?
No, not somebody. You.
Or just an individual who has financial stability.
No, you not. Okay. Would you rather? Okay, God's gonna give you one blessing.
Well, I gotta choose.
Love, or you have wealth.
I'd rather have love.
Your health is guaranteed.
I'd rather have love because why? I feel like that's my calling. Venus is the ruler of my sign.
More important than wealth to you.
Well, because I'm always generally a hard worker, providing the opportunities provided. I'll do whatever it takes.
Being a hard worker, you'll never get wealth. You're just a hard worker.
No, but my point was, I don't need to live top of the line. Like, okay, I gotta live on Fifth Avenue in a high rise and have high expensive things. I don't mind working a decent job that pays me decent amount of money for my time. I don't have to be paid top dollar, but the basics, live and stuff like that. I'll save up if I want to do something like go on vacations, take trips, or spoil myself with something. I'm always going to have the very things I want, especially when it comes to finances. But love is something that's not guaranteed. Not everybody wants to do the work for love.
You get one.
I said love because why I'd rather be rich in spirit and heart than finances, because that goes a long way. And guess what? Money can't buy love. It can buy you a good time for that moment, but that person don't love you. That is there for one thing. Because guess what? When that money runs out, you don't have money, they don't love you anymore.
Bloomberg had a saying. I got to look up on YouTube about love and money. He said something about love and money. He chose money, and I agree. I'll choose the money.
Well, think about it. When you leave this world, this earth, you can't take that money with you.
You can't take the love with you either.
Yes, you can. The love is in your heart, your soul, your spirit. Your spirit's still gonna, once you leave this body, this physical thing, whatever you manifest and you build to be who you are, that you value, that comes with you. It's just that we can't take our materials with us that we got here on this earth.
If you were a kind and decent individual all your life, and you happen to have wealth, but you never found that true love, give me wealth any day of the week.
Well, you kind of got that. You think about that.
You can buy love, even if it's temporary.
It's a good time. There's a difference between buying a good time for the moment versus love. Love is something that can. I'm not saying it does or it is. It can last a very long time.
If you want to go to Las Vegas for a whole month, live in the best hotels, you can find about 3 or 4 cuties to take with you. Now, if you're working all day, all night, and you're in love with this individual, but neither one of you have any kind of money, you'll never make it to Las Vegas in best hotels. You just be in your little small tenant room.
How about, and guess what? We don't have to go to Las Vegas. Who's to say I can't turn our home or this place into Las Vegas? I have the tendency of doing that. I have a tendency of making people feel like they're in a vacation in their own home, and they didn't leave home or wherever they came from to go there to have that good time. That good time existed because it existed inside me.
Can we agree to disagree?
All right.
You chose.
All right. Then guess what? If you decide to spend one night, or if I say what I'm going to say, you trust me.
Say it.
It'll blow the top right off of your head.
Say it.
I don't think you're ready for this fire to be shooting out of the top of your head. I don't feel like threatening nobody with a good time.
Money talks and everything else walks.
Yeah, but it's only temporary. Trust me, like I said, I've paid for it before. I'm not ashamed to say I only paid for it not because I couldn't find it.
No, you don't pay for it.
Listen.
You paid them to go away.
No, I paid to get what I want to not deal with the bullshit.
It doesn't work like that.
For them,
to go here. Take $1,000 now, go away.
$1,000 for what? You didn't do me no favor. How about you just give me the money and I'll go away? I don't have to do nothing. I understand what you said about that red fox thing, but here's my point. He had that attitude mentality, but who was sitting there having fun with his old ass? It really was about the money if you think about it. They weren't there for their help because he was doing something for them. It was the money.
Well, he only became wealthy in his older age.
But my point was, with that statement he made,
but he had a good time.
Yeah, he had a good time for what it was, and because you don't want to. Let me tell you something about people like that, and similar to what you seem to be saying. I wouldn't say you're like that because I don't look at you that way, but I would say people who have that mindset, that mentality. I think to myself, okay, you're really paying somebody to go away. Here's my point: if you didn't have that money for them to go away, would that person be there in the first place?
But that's why you go for the wealth. So you can see, okay, a good point. So, okay, you see this cutie working this weird odd job. Wouldn't it be better to say, I'll pay you double what you're making. Come over here with me.
That's again. That's why I said what I said about. If I put the thing in, I'm not paying because I can't get a person like that. I could get a person like that. I just can't get a person like that with the bullshit or whatever that individual decide to say, whatever it takes to get you. If I got to go through this to get you, I'm pushing you to the side and going somewhere else where it's easier to get that without the bullshit.
I guess our personalities are different because.
Like I'm good.
Straight man?
No, I can't say I have.
Okay, so you couldn't date a straight man who has a girlfriend?
I can. I would prefer that. That would be my preferred type of man to deal with. Because again, like I said, if you want to
become jealous.
No, because she could do things that I can't do. She could take dick. I don't take dick.
But suppose he's spending more time with her than you.
I'm not here for that. I'm here for when you want something different and you want to experience it from a male point of view. I'll be more than happy to be that. Like I said, I could be your best kept secret. And I told you that's an option I have if I can't have my preferred choice. That would be the next best thing that I would go for. Because I don't want to deal with the baggage and stuff like that, or to compete, or to try to conform myself to be something that you may want to do. Some of the dudes who I tend to be attracted to tend to want to use their dicks, and unfortunately, they can't use it on me.
So when you see guys who can take dick good, what goes through your head exactly?
Depending on what they give off to me as an individual, if they don't come off as sadistic, insatiable, or traditional, like the way most bottoms who want to take dick come to me as, again, I'm not
so negative. Bottoms. This sounds negative.
All right, men who prefer to take it in the rear. How about that?
I don't know. I'm just saying. When you said it, you said no. You put emphasis on bottoms.
I only say it like that because the ones who tend to approach me don't give me the talents or the satisfaction I need. They come off to me like nothing is special about my dick. My dick is just like any other dick. I just want dick for the moment, and you just happen to be somebody I want. So they don't see the person behind the dick. I'm not interested in slinging or serving dick to those particular type of individuals. Now they were somebody who, like I said, they were a married guy, and out of curiosity, they might want that feeling of, that type of thing. Then I'm your man. I'm definitely for the job. I'm not going to go out of my way looking for it. I don't subjugate people to, like I said, to fulfill that criteria, that motive. I don't get with men because I want to fuck them or I want to get fucked. That's not saying I don't enjoy that act. I would preferably enjoy that act a little bit more with somebody who I could be committed to on a day-to-day basis, because I'm committed to wanting to deal with you on a day-to-day basis, because you're there to be able to satisfy my sexual needs on a day-to-day basis, not just for the moment.
So now going back to your original question, right?
What up, Larry?
Going back to your original question, this life is very, very complicated.
It is. Life in general, not just sexuality, it's just life.
You've thrown certain things out there back and forth, and it's like, it's complicated.
Well, because you can't identify that. You can't see yourself there. You're still trying to put yourself in those places. Not just you.
What do you mean?
The places that I put myself in, that I say, okay, I could identify as this, or I could, the reason why I can speak with such passion, not just because I've been there and done it and I've tried many things, but for the most part, I know what works for me. And I'm only going by what works for me. But unfortunately, because I have the factor of being attractive or having sex appeal to most people's standards or likings, they would like for me to be a little bit more clearer or be on their level of what they fantasize me about, because that would work for them. But then to know that, behind that face, behind that individual, this mindset or this mentality exists, I can't deal with that individual. That's what most people say to me. They like what they see, but once they know what I'm about, what my substance is, how I carry myself, it's like, how do I change that about him? Like, most people, they try to do that. They try to change or mold me to be something that's more appropriate to be in their life, that it can exist in their life, because they like what they see. And they realize that not very many people who they find physically or sexually attractive come in this particular package that I guess I'm representing.
Are you a free-hearted person? You give?
I'm a giver, yeah.
money?
No, I wouldn't say like that. I mean, I'm gonna give it to an extent, to an default, within reason. I'm practical with it. I know how much of myself to give versus when I know I need to keep my distance, or like you say.
Say you had a lot of wealth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you a giver? Would you be a giver financially?
I got a little philanthropic. I didn't say that right. I got a little philanthropist in me, but I'm not trying to sit there and say.
I'm not talking about philanthropy now. We're talking about just giving, just to give.
Just for the hell of it?
Yeah. Because you have it.
No, if you need it, that's a different story. If you're needing versus I just want it just because, no, you're not gonna ask me and I just give. Oh, you know what? I'll give you money just to go get a brand new pair of sneakers or buy a new car or a house. No, I'm not.
You say you have it that way. No big deal. $1,000 ain't nothing to you. I'm not a penny to most people.
I'm not gonna really do that. I'm more inclined to do it if that person's in need. You gotta be in need.
You have to ask.
I won't even say that. If I can identify and come to my own conclusion, I'm more likely inclined to do it. Yeah. So,
okay, there's two sides of the fence. All your life, take it from age 18. That's legal, right?
Mm-hmm.
From age 18, I can go further back myself. From age 18 to the present, would you consider I can't think of a better term, so bear with me. Would you consider yourself a sugar daddy, a sugar daddy, or a suggy? Would you see yourself being a sugar daddy type person, or a person who always accepts?
I could be a little bit of both.
Okay.
Because I like the idea of getting something, but more so in the sense of like, if I do something that would require you to, might want to, that would require you to, what I'm saying? If you do something, give something in return. Because I'm always a firm believer of if somebody does something for me, a favor, and especially if you didn't have to do it, I'm gracious and what's the word I'm looking for? Appreciative of the fact that I like to return favors. And therefore I don't always look for somebody to do something for me, but I do like the idea and the notion if somebody chooses to want to do something for me, I don't mind that and I'll accept it. And I don't mind giving, especially if I do give, I give from the heart. I don't give because I want something in return. I give because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy providing because people provided things for me when they didn't have to.
I wonder if I'm similar to you in terms of there's no catch.
No, there isn't.
I think I might have a catch usually if I give. I don't know what it is. I mean, I think I would expect something back. I don't know what that something would be.
I would say like when it comes to favors, like one good turn deserves another. Like, okay, if I was there in your time of need for something, and I won't even say time of need because I don't mind being there for somebody's time of need versus you want something from me. Now, if you want extra money, like
no, it's not. No, you're not a druggie. I don't mind giving. But if you're a druggie, taking my money, give it to the what do you call the person? the drug pusher. If you're an addict and you need money for drugs,
now there's a difference. You don't need money. You want money.
I don't want nothing to do with you.
And I'll say this.
You just need money from time to time.
Well, I'm gonna go for something basic. Cigarettes. I don't smoke cigarettes. I used to at one point, and I can sympathize, but I don't have the. All right.
Why don't we take a quick take a quick musical break, and you can explain what you're trying to say before. We're going to take a quick musical break and come back.
All right.
And let you know.
The Rockman in the building.
What do you say?
Got something about the league.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of time. I'm surprised.
We're going the same way, right? We're going the same direction?
Oh, yeah, Brooklyn. You want to be here?
I live in Brooklyn.
I know. I'm saying, but sometimes you can't get out.
Yeah. I don't have no plans this week. Who? What?
I'm playing Keezy and Weezy.
Yo, what's poppin', police? It's your boy Warbuck.
For those of you who's on my page, thank you for tuning in.
I'm tuning in, I'm checking in, and I'm listening to
I can stay for another half hour.
Radio station in the world.
So the next record on it,
Okay. Get in, get down, and do that. Hey,
It is Saturday night. Anybody got any plans for this Saturday night?
DNA.
Everybody going tonight.
The night. And now the new millennium. Another radio station. Believe me when I tell you. You know how I know?
What's going on, Jerry?
Because
Robert?
Ooh, DNA.
Oh, Joshua, nobody should really require anything, request or require anything from me, but most people try to request things from me that I don't even do, even on my best days.
What the heck is that? I put the wrong one on.
What up, bro? I was waiting for you. I was wondering where you was at. I was missing you all day. I didn't have you to challenge me or nothing. Yeah, I know I've been going through social media for a while, but you know it's customary to take a break every once in a while. Bro. How your night's going so far? I know you're here now, so you're here to set the record straight, man. Yeah, let me give you a little insight of some of the things you missed. I didn't come up with a particular name, but I just, dropped a couple of lines and questions. But the highlight of what I really wanted to convey was, should we all be on the same page for unity, understanding, and brotherhood to occur? Yeah, trust me, I'm not against wearing pink. You know what I'm saying? Because pink represents the color of compassion and a different form of love. And I'm all about that. I'm very compassionate. In fact, one of my birthstones, for being a Taurus is it's a pink diamond and a rose quartz, which is pink. And trust me, I'm definitely about that, that pink diamond, rose quartz life, for real, for real. And I don't just mean from the damn show Steven Universe. Let me see what kind of pick you got on. Oh yeah, I'm talking to the pink microphone. Word. I ain't even noticed that shit, yo. I think one of my homeboys, if he's still in here, can identify one of the next reasons why I like pink is also for breast cancer awareness. And I also lost somebody special to breast cancer. And also, Majin Buu from Dragon Ball Z is pink. And he tough as fuck. Yeah, I did. Trust me, you're the only one that keeps this, working. And I know you're trying to get me because I heard what you said one of the last few times I, did one of my shows. You were talking about saying, yeah, we got to get one of these smart bottoms to get you. Really? They got to do their homework, man. They got to cross them T's and dot them I's. What up, Akeem? My Gemini brother. Long time no see, man. If you're listening, man, I forgot to tell you, I don't remember the names, but two of one of your associates at your party, when I came to your party this year for your birthday, two of them tried to have their way with me. They tried to rape me. Is this like a rape me? What up, Anthony Lavelle? So what's going on? Any plans for Saturday night tonight, Mr. Jones? In a little bit, I'm about to wrap up, and I'm definitely taking my ass straight home to Brooklyn. So I got some weed that needs to be smoked, and shit, I really would like to go to a nice little spot, a nice little hall or something to interact and mingle with people because I'm definitely feeling it tonight, but I'm kind of not dressed for the occasion. You know what I mean? Besides, I don't even know where to go. But anyway, tell me what y'all think if y'all still listening. What do you think about our brotherhood, our unity, and our understanding for us being same gender loving, or within the LGBTQ community? What issues do you think we could address? Rel, I know you got a lot to say about this, man. What do you think we could better do to better stop the shame and the bashing and the misunderstanding for other people to live their lives according to what they want to do, down to their sexual preferences and how they go about it? For unity, we need to be on the same page. We don't have to agree on everything, but on the same page. Hell yeah. Thank you, bro. I knew I could count on you for support, man. But the real issue I was really trying to address was why do we bash one another? Because somebody want to identify as being masculine or feminine, or want to be a bottom or a top or versatile, or however they want to approach, their sexual agenda, and rather than embrace the fact that that individual chooses to be like that, just say that that's not something you practice. Okay, let the next man or woman go for what they feel is right for them. You feel me? I don't have to agree with wanting to live that life that way, but I agree that other people are going to be doing it regardless if I'm doing it or not. And it's not up to me to decide how other people want to live their lives. But I can choose who I allow to live in my life. You know what I'm saying? If they're going to portray themselves a certain way, I could choose whether I can accept it or not.
DNA, you sound so sexy. I am coffee.
DNAradio.net presents the video show.
Just a little break, but I'm still talking to you guys on my page. But
We at DNAradio.net are here to uplift and inspire our listening audience. One of the ways we do this is by having thought-provoking, meaningful conversations. We understand and appreciate passionate responses. Therefore, we respectfully ask everyone to be mindful of what you say and how you say it.
all right, let me give you fellas a friendly reminder.
Who are you and what we're all
On our platforms.
Mr. Rockman over there.
Yeah.
This is BU and BU Nation. I'm DNA. He's the host, man.
All right, let me give you a friendly reminder. Our show's audio and sound quality is much better and sound much better if you tune into us right now on the radio at DNAradio.net. That's DNAradio.net all around the world.
BU and BUNation.net. I like your topics tonight.
Thank you. All right, our buddy Rel came in here and he said some pretty interesting things. To stop bashing, let's switch roles. Live in it for a day, and each will quickly see what it's like. The mind will change. Rel also stated, you think differently after living outside of your comfort zone. That is true. That's true. That goes the same for all of us. Femmes be masculine, and masculine guys be feminine for an entire day.
Who's saying that?
Rel.
Switch roles?
Yeah. In a sense, I do agree to a certain extent that like if you really want to understand certain things and other aspects and avenues in life, yeah, I think a lot of people could tend to learn things by walking a mile in those shoes themselves.
Well, I don't know about switching roles, but I know by having two roommates, one who wanted to be transgender and one who was just semi-feminine, you have an appreciation of them just being human beings.
Yes.
Just decent people.
No.
Because we hear all the stereotypes, even though we're in the same gender loving SGL, gay, LGBTQ community, we don't really have a chance to associate ourselves with other types.
That's true.
So this what I mean.
Stepping out your comfort zone would definitely be a big step.
Yeah, I didn't even know I was stepping out of my comfort zone. I just told me
comfort zone.
I like it.
No, that goes to show you, but like, especially what up, Franklin Lewis. But yes, I mean, when you come in the room, it says everything. So I mean, I only saying what the machine is telling me.
Okay.
But sometimes to teach people a lesson, you have to literally switch shoes. Yes, walk a mile in certain shoes. Yes, and the best way I can say it, if it's really not your walk, is rather than say what you won't do or that this isn't for you. You already know it's not for you. You're comfortable in your sexuality. You know what you're about. Don't let your opinion and how you say and express it be something that you know latches on to other people and they think it's wrong. State that it's wrong and it's not something you yourself would practice. Believe it so that it's something that if somebody else chooses that, they don't feel shame for going for something that comes natural to them because you don't know how anybody ended up on this particular thing. Like I said, I use myself as an example. I found there's three different ways as to how men became my choice. One was natural. Two, it was taught to me because I was molested. Three, it was because of the circumstance. Because I feel like if women are supposed to be my choice and I'm supposed to be heterosexual, why I can't get the woman I have, that I want, that I feel is right for me? I'm not willing to do the work, and I'm not willing to do the work for somebody who don't have the qualities to make me whole at home that I could focus and be what I'm supposed to be for you. You get what I'm saying? You know, but that doesn't work for everybody else, and that's fine. But I'm not going to stop the process as to how I have arrived there because other people find it problematic or a problem. That's a problem for you. You need to get over those issues, not me. I'm cool and I'm fine with where I'm at.
Question for you is TMI, let me know.
Hmm.
Did you know you were being molested?
I didn't know the word molestation, but I knew what was happening was wrong. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel good. It didn't come from a good place, especially the circumstance as to how it did. And mind you, it's not one of those like, oh, I'm going to be one of those black men who's angry and bitter, or I can't talk about it, because it's really general, basic stuff. It wasn't really some extreme cases I heard, which is a lot worse. But the fact that it happened in childhood, and back in the time when and I have a thing about it now, even to this day, for other people and other kids, like give kids a chance to live and come up to their own conclusion and live their own life to figure if they want to find themselves there, let them find their way there. Don't be something that you brought it to them and you taught them that, because they don't know the difference of knowing how to make their own choices, because only you are the master of you, and that thought enough should be able to do anything, especially lift you off of the ground.
What age would you say you were molested?
All right. It happened in two things. One was with a kid who was a few years older than me, and the next,
1 year, 2 years, 3 years?
I would say at least 2, 3, maybe 4, because I think I was like 6 or 7, and I think he was at least 9 or 10 or 11 at least.
Okay.
Um.
But is that really molestation?
Well, we're bringing unnecessary sexual contact to somebody who's not even thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there in my bed sleep, not even worried about. I'm thinking about little kid shit, action figures, Ninja Turtles. I'm not thinking about grown adult sex thing, like really. And then the second time really wasn't, but the initial episode was very uncomfortable. It was with somebody who was probably as old as I am now, in their 30s, and I don't think a 30-year-old gentleman should be trying to make a pass at a 7 or 8-year-old child who's in second grade. Like, I'm thinking about The Simpsons and Bart, and cartoons and shit, and I don't even want to get the scenario.
So you're 7 and they're 30 something.
Yeah.
Now that to me is what's the word?
Molestation.
That makes more sense. But the other one to me would sound like,
no, because somebody taught it to him, and evidently you want to try it. You tried it with somebody else who I wasn't even introduced to or even think about. I'm gonna be honest. I had a little bit of curiosity in me, but it wasn't enough for me to act upon. It was just no different than any child who's curious with seeing naked bodies. I mean, I always had a pervertedness would be with seeing anybody.
Curiosity. I wasn't.
It was perverted. Like, I walked past the bathroom and somebody was naked. I'm sitting there watching the show. That's perverted. That's not that person's consent. They don't even know they're being watched. Perverted. That's perverted. Yes. But I take pride in that.
Was this before or after the?
It was before.
Before the. No,
molestation.
Not now. Molestation.
But mal means bad too, and it's bad because you're introducing something to somebody that they're not familiar with. They don't even know what it is and what's going on, and it just feels weird. Like,
the second episode was definitely totally out of order.
Well, the second episode, I mean, because I was always a smart kid, but I just knew that no 30-year-old man should be trying this business, especially the way he really thought I was that naive and that dumb to really fall for foolishness. Like I was smart to know like this isn't right and this isn't make sense that if you did this in front of somebody else and somebody else seen what you do, you would be in trouble, and you know that. I knew it. I had enough sense to know it.
Was it the same location or different location?
Different location.
Okay. Different individuals and everything.
Yeah, like I said, the individual.
No connection.
No connection. It was somebody in their 30s that they used to their mom used to house sit and watch some kids when they came home from school until your parents came home type stuff. And I wondered for a long time why kids weren't coming to hang out at this place no more when this woman was very known for having kids around and stuff. But I realized it was because of that fucking old ass creep.
Her husband?
No, not her husband, her son.
Her son. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't. So I was thinking maybe the one who was close to your age was to break you in. And once they broke you in, the older one then took over from there. It wasn't like that.
Well, yeah. The one with the younger kid happened first before the older guy tried to.
But the older person didn't know you.
Yeah, they had no affiliate connection.
That's right.
It was two separate situations.
So are you still in contact with the older person?
No, the older person was in my childhood. It's just that ever since that situation, went down, I just felt so uncomfortable, and it just disgusted me. And they let me know that even growing up in the future, what it was, and I didn't realize the word for it was called pedophile. I didn't realize that until I got older.
Right. So most people, well, not most, I won't say most. Some people who were molested became anti.
Yeah, some of it could lead extreme to they come, like you said, they become homophobic, or they really have
start preaching against it and throwing stones and everything else.
Yeah.
You don't seem to be that type of individual.
Well, nah, because like I said, I already knew even before that was introduced to me. I had my own perception as far as being curious and the curiosity nature of sexuality or exploring the human body. But that's how I like to call it. I was more curious as to how this works, or what is this, or why is this like this, or why does he have this, or why does she have that. I was more on that level, more so than how I practice it now. Now I know what I'm doing. I'm an adult. I can make my decisions to know, and I know where to go for it. I know what outlets to go for to get what I want if I want something.
Well, thank you for your honesty.
Hey, not a problem. And Ro appreciates it too. Trust me, I have nothing but but I know what to be honest about versus what I should just keep my mouth closed.
Okay, cool. I'm pretty nosy at times. You ask too many questions.
Hey,
on radio.
Inquiring minds like to know things, and there ain't nothing about that. Like I said, I like knowing information too. And sometimes people say, "Hey, I'm nosy." No, and being nosy and inquisitive are two different things.
Okay, cool. You have this on your desk?
Yes, I do.
You want to go through it real quick?
All right. The #1 internet radio station in the world, DNAradio.net. We play the best music, new music, all day, every day, 24/7. Our live shows are as follows. Every Saturday.
At 4 o'clock, we have film, food, and more.
Film, not film, film.
Oh, thank you.
Because every time you say I swear to God, it sounds like he's saying, like, what is he?
Okay, say it again.
Film.
Film, food, and more. I'm glad you corrected that. Film, food, and more with our good friend Damien. That's 4 o'clock every Saturday live.
And at 5, we have Love and Lust, starring our girl Red Spice and our homeboy Wiz.
6:30, we have BU and BU Nation with the man himself, Rockman.
Then we have Venus versus Mars, starring our girl Charms and, again, our homeboy Wiz. It's Libra season, so please give a shout out to all the Libras out there, especially some of my best friends and their moms. Like, definitely.
And that's 8 o'clock on Saturday. So we're here live from 4 p.m. until about, let's say, 9:30, 10 p.m. Oh, no, that's old stuff. Thank you very much. That's old. Let me get to the gospel.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
24 hours.
Yeah. Now, tomorrow, they're doing some maintenance on our computers, so the gospel will not be up and running tomorrow. Yes, we'll be still playing, regular rap, unfortunately, on Sundays. But we do have a separate radio station that plays gospel music all day, every day. So let me start from the top with my little reading right here. Also listen to our 24-hour gospel radio station. That's JesusOnlyRadio.com. All day, every day. JesusOnlyRadio.com. 24/7, yes, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. Commercial free, which means no commercials and no infomercials. Pure, clean, holy, spiritual gospel music. That's JesusOnlyRadio.com. Thank you.
Anytime, DNA. What up, Walid?
Yes.
Jefferson.
Oh, then what's up?
Yeah, I just said what's up.
What's up? What's up?
What up?
Like Martin. Right?
But anyway, yeah. What are some of the tips? I'm sure that some of you individuals could come up with something. What are some of the tips you think we could do to, I guess you could say, alleviate or tackle some of these issues concerning bashing each other or not understanding other people's walks? Like, I don't knock it, like, especially if you're single. Let's just say you're single. You identify at the top. I don't knock if you want to go out there and, fuck every piece of ass that's out there. You're single. You're grown. You're an adult. You're a man. You can do whatever you want. But I don't think those individuals have a right to get upset when what they're looking for from certain individuals isn't prevalent or, on the surface or easily accessible. But, that's just one of the, many things I could have said. But again, the way certain people do things, just look at it like this. It's good for you. That's just not something I'm going to follow. And rather than bash people and make them feel bad about that their individual choice, I don't say nothing about it. If they come to me with a certain agenda, I say thanks but no thanks. I don't practice that, but thank you anyway. But I feel like at this point in time, like I'm 19, almost 20 years strong in this game. Like, I know who I am. I know what I want. Yeah.
Need some work?
No, I got it. I feel like I want to burp, but don't want to come out.
You want a commercial?
Oh no, I'm good. But yeah. So in my experience, I've been around certain individuals that if you say you identify as this or you carry yourself this way, is either people either love it or hate it. And over the years, I've learned not to give a rat's ass especially they hate it. If they love it, more power to you, and I'm happy and I'm appreciative that you appreciate my choice that I chose for me. But in any event, you find your way coming to a disappointment, or because I don't resonate on a certain level, maybe you perceive me to resonate on, but unfortunately, who's to say anybody owns the rights that your particular image is supposed to be utilized to be this, or you have to move this way. I'm tall and slim. That doesn't mean I should or I have to play basketball. I'm built to play basketball, but my heart's not into playing basketball.
Have you ever played basketball?
I did for fun. I play with my friends if they want to play and kind of do that. I don't mind doing it. But as far as taking it as a profession, to want to be good at, for me to be known at that, I had to be known as a musician, a doctor, or some kind of artist. You know what I'm saying? Like,
those are actual things, or you just...
Well, yeah, those are, because I practice those things. I mean, I don't draw no more. I play the guitar and the keyboard.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. I won't say so many. I got limited talents just like everybody else did. But I just got talents that I say pertain to me, and they accentuate who I am, and as far as me having a love for those things.
You want to do any politics or just stick to sexual sex?
Wait, we want to talk about sexual relationships. I was actually talking about brotherhood, unity, understanding, the differences in mentalities, standards, what separates us as people within the LGBTQ community or being same gender loving. And I want to address the issue that I feel needs to be addressed about how we shame one another, because we don't want to identify or understand other people's walks in life. That these are choices that other people are choosing. And I'll even go as basic as to say this. The LGBTQ community would probably be more or less boring if there was no such things as tops or bottoms respectively, who didn't identify as such. Because think about it like this. Let's just say if everybody gay or LGBTQ wanted to be bottoms because they want men, and there was no such thing as a top or men who enjoy using their dick for that purpose. How would gay men consider wanting to be gay if they can't, but mind you, I think that there's more to sex than just anal sex or fucking. But it seems to be now, since we reached this point, in the beginning, I think like in the early 2000s, it really wasn't that bad. But now I think it reached the all-time high as to everybody's driven by that. And they're driven to it to the point that, again, they're not even wanting to be committed. And again, to me, commitment is more than just love and romance and, passionate things. Commitment means, hey, I don't have a desire for other people other than you. I'd rather share that, but that person should be the only one who's getting my all or my effort that I would put in. Other than that, I feel like if it can't be something I could keep and it's for me, what's the purpose? To me, I got over the novelty of momentary things or just for the moment. I lived in that moment already. That time is over for me.
So do you see yourself? So do you see yourself getting married to another male?
I'm not.
Can I ask you a question before?
No, not really. You didn't ask this particular question. Okay. I'm not opposed to getting married to a man. I would still prefer a woman, not just because of the heteronormative standards of what goes out there. I only say that for the simple fact because only a woman can give me a family. Mind you, that's not saying I can't share or have a family with the man, like where we could get what do you call it? A surrogate, and she could get pregnant with either our kids, or we could have kids outside, of thing, but we decide to take care of it together, or we can adopt. I was adopted. I'm not ashamed to say that. In fact, my adopted family gave me the best life I've ever had. They taught me to keep my heart open, to not, to open me up to still accept love when I thought there was no such thing. Because most people don't come from where I come from and still practice or believing in love the way I still do.
I keep forgetting that. That's the reason why you chose love over wealth. I keep forgetting that. Okay. Interesting.
Not just that, love is my strength, actually. And I would beat ass over love any day.
Is that a Torian thing or is you?
I think it's a little bit of both, but more of a Torian thing because we take love serious. We do. Well, not love. We take bonds. Bonds with people we take very serious.
You want to discuss any politics?
Shoot for it. I'll let you lead.
I don't think you were here when I talked about this earlier today. In 1968, this is American history now. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because there's a movie coming out, The Godfather of Harlem, and it talks about Bumpy Johnson. And I just wanted to mention this because I've been doing some research in the last 2-3 years on the mafia, right? And I just wanted to understand, okay, the Italians said they're mafia, the Jews said they're mafia. Where was the black mafia? There was a black mafia.
The Black Panthers.
Well, no, please don't put them in the same.
All right, I apologize. My apologies.
They're all gay, but there's several categories of gay. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So definitely, the Black Panthers was more of a positive, let's build a black nation, boom, 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 as opposed to let's build wealth and greed and whatever.
I understand now.
Okay. But I'm not dissing the black mafia. I'm just going to say this.
But we never had one.
Well, when you hear this, you'll understand what I'm trying to put out to the world that we did to a degree. Okay. Now, in 1968, several things took place. In 1968, just bear with me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was the president after Kennedy. When they killed Kennedy, Lyndon Baines Johnson became president. In 1968, March of 1968, he decided not to run for re-election. Okay? You with me?
Mm-hmm.
That's 1960. Remember the year, 1968. All these things took place in 1968. And most historians don't put the pieces of the puzzle together.
They never do.
And I just happened to put this together with my little research about what went down. Okay? Once again, I'm going to start from the top. LBJ, March 1968, he decides not to run for president. April 4th, 1968, they assassinate Dr. King. June 1968, they assassinate Robert F. Kennedy. July 1968, they assassinate Bumpy Johnson, the Black Mafia, the godfather of Harlem. They claim he died of a heart attack, but he was poisoned in the restaurant. Okay? 1968, those things took place. Of course, Kennedy gets assassinated, so he can't be president. We get Nixon becomes president in 1968. Everything goes backwards for the black race. The little we achieved in 1964, 1965.
We got set back a little bit.
Great setbacks.
A great setback.
Yeah, when Nixon, a Republican, a conservative Republican.
Oh yeah, well now you say that, yes. Yeah. Now I see it.
Conservative Republican, one step above Reagan. He wasn't as bad as Reagan, but one step above Reagan. About 20 steps below Kennedy and Johnson. Okay, so that's in '68. Now the reason why I mentioned Bumpy Johnson in '68, I remember being a youth. In 1966, the heroin addicts, I'm not trying to diss them now, I'm not dissing the heroin addicts. The heroin addicts would ask me, a mere youth in '66, 10 years old, for a nickel. Okay, my allowance is probably $1. You only want a nickel, so I give you a nickel. In 1968, the U.S. government floods the black communities, Harlem in particular, with heroin.
And crack.
Well, crack came
in the 80s.
Sorry, excuse me, I said that wrong. Came later on with Reagan, not Kennedy, Reagan. Slip of the tongue, sorry. So it was still in '68. The United States government, with the blessings of the FBI and the Italian Jewish mafia, they flood the black communities in '68 after they killed the godfather of Harlem, Bumpy Johnson, because he had control on this stuff. His main racket was basically the numbers, not drugs. Okay, drugs were there, but it wasn't his main racket. Once they got him out of the way, nobody's in charge. They put all these drugs in our black community.
Of course, nobody wants to take responsibility.
There you go. So now, understand, I'm 10 years old in '66. The heroin addicts only want a nickel. I'm only 10. My allowance is $1. In '68, I'm still getting $1 for allowance. I'm down 12. Now the heroin addicts are asking for a quarter. And to me, it's like, wow.
That's a
lot of money.
That's a big outcome.
That's a lot of money. I'm only getting $1, for allowance. That's fourth of my income.
Tell me more about this allowance. How often did you get this allowance?
Whenever they decided to give it to us, more than probably.
I mean, was it weekly, monthly?
It probably was whenever. It could have been weekly.
Shoot, I was going up and getting an allowance, because if I did, I surely would say that I would be a rich nigga right now.
Well, it was probably weekly. I know I got something, okay, and it was probably no more than $1. So when a heroin addict is now asking for a quarter from a 12-year-old, that's a lot of money, okay? Even though I was working as a bagger in the supermarket, but that still is a lot of money to me. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make is this. In 1968, the government of the United States, working with the mafia, flooded our community with heroin, okay? And Bumpy Johnson, who kept that stuff out of our community, was assassinated and poisoned. So now, the five mafia families of New York now had a free reign to do whatever they wanted to do. There's nobody stopping them. Okay, you have Frank Lucas comes on to sing, I suppose, and then you have Nicky Barnes come on to sing, I suppose, and then I suppose they're working with the Italian Jewish mafia, killing our black community. Okay, another thing, we're talking about Nixon now, right? Because Nixon was president that next year, because the election was...
And he's not a crook.
And that's the biggest joke, right? So Nixon became president during the election of November 1968. 69, he now takes over the reign of president. Okay, moving right along. Another little thing nobody talks about is the following. Nixon is now the president, right? J. Edgar Hoover understands that Nixon is doing the Watergate thing. He's doing all kind of crookedness against the Democrats. So Nixon wanted the FBI to do the bugging of the Watergate complex, the Watergate Hotel. But J. Edgar Hoover wouldn't do it. J. Edgar Hoover, the director of the FBI at that time, would not do it. So Nixon had his own men do it. Former FBI agents, former CIA agents, they call themselves the plumbers. So they did the bugging, and that's why he got caught up in Watergate.
So that's how the plumbers started.
Yes, this is 1972. Now dig this. In 1972, Nixon get rid of Gambino. Carlo Gambino dies of a so-called heart attack in Long Island. I think it's either Long Island or Florida. I can't remember which one it was. So he gets rid of that. Okay, now the Mafia Godfather is gone. Boom, you're finished. You already have Vito Genovese. He's in jail for life, right? He dies in jail years later. LBJ, who was the president, who didn't run for re-election, dropped dead of a heart attack. Wait a minute.
Miraculously.
Gambino drops dead in 72 of a heart attack. LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, the former president, drops dead of a heart attack. And then guess what else dropped dead of a heart attack in 1972? J. Edgar Hoover, that low dog himself, drops dead of a heart attack. So Nixon, who's now in complete control, no more mafia, no more Democrats, no more FBI to tell me what I can't do. He gets rid of all of them in 1972. And no historian who has many more degrees than I have talk about this stuff.
They lucky I wasn't around that time, because I definitely would have documented and said that, because I'm the type of person, like, it was 10 years before my time.
Well, I didn't have a clue this was going on. I mean, in terms of the deaths. I understood the Watergate. I was in high school. We talked about it in high school.
But the history, too, but you was kind of familiar with the history, though.
Well, I was always a history buff ever since probably at age, whenever they killed Kennedy, that's when I started following the news, and I started following so-called history. I really didn't know what I was following. I just enjoy listening to 10-10 Wins. Was it 10-10 Wins? No, it wasn't 10-10 Wins yet. It was just regular news on TV. Walter Cronkite.
I used to listen. Well, I wasn't a radio buff like that, but I listened to a couple of things because, like, I was a bit of a nerd to want to know about, history or knowledge or something that I didn't know, because I like learning shit.
So people out there in radio land, if you're listening to me now, somebody who has much more time to research this stuff, put together the pieces of this puzzle. What took place in '68 with Dr. King, Bumpy Johnson, Robert F. Kennedy, and then put together the pieces of the puzzle, what went down in '72. Watergate, Carlo Gambino drops dead from the Mafia. J. Edgar Hoover drops dead. LBJ dropped dead. They all dropped dead of
heart attacks.
And the government can give
Sounds like Death Note to me.
The government can give you a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? They can do this stuff. And they give you cancer. They give you AIDS and all this stuff. So that was a little history thing I was doing a little research.
No, they find creative and elaborate ways to kill you, but to make it simplified, he died of a heart attack. Really? Right. So let me see the autopsy report and all these forensics and all this.
Well, they're all in cahoots together. See, they don't want no more assassinations like Dr. King, because what happened?
The public will get mad.
Yeah. So no more assassinations.
It's the only way to keep us quiet.
Now they got the new one. It's character assassination. Michael Jackson, so-called child molester.
And that's going on in our community as well.
O.J. Simpson kills his wife.
Character assassination.
Now you got this Me Too movement, and they're tearing down all of these celebrities, athletes. It's character assassination. You have black women, black sisters going against our black men to tear down black men.
Yes. I'm going to address that in my next topic once I talk about that. I've been always wanting to tackle that for a long time.
So I'm sorry to drag you into this.
No, sometimes it's good to have a little
contract out on me already. I'm sorry to drag you into this, but it needs to be said to the public.
It's always good to make people aware of things, and there's not a problem with that.
Yes. So I'm glad you can appreciate history, whereas some people get scared. Oh, DNA, you can't do this on the radio. Yes, I can.
Make people aware, but don't saturate them with history, because sometimes it's a saturation of history.
Make them in the head too much, right?
No, not even that. Sometimes it could be on false pretense. I mean, you mean well, but your information is wrong, so now you misinform that person. Because some people believe whatever history they heard, and they may have heard it wrong, so that becomes the truth for them. So they spread that misinformation to people thinking it's the truth, and it's not.
Well, do your homework. I gave you time periods. I gave you names. Now go on.
No, but I'm not saying you. I'm saying, but for what you said, I feel what you gave was complete cosmic gold. But when other people try to do things, they can start off on the right path about something that could be true, but then it deviates to some other path that's just like where did you get this information from? And then when you look at it, you actually do the history, you like, this person was backwards, and you got to correct them, because if you don't, they're going to go out there misinforming people.
Well, right now, all those people on social media and on radio, you have the internet. Go there right now. It seems to be very suspicious that these individuals all dropped dead almost at the same time.
Within that year, he got rid of all the people that would literally oppose him and stop him from doing what he had no right or no business doing. Now, the people who would be a threat are no longer there.
Exactly. But he still, see, God sits high and sees low. All the dirt that he did, he still had to resign in disgrace.
And you got to answer for it.
Exactly. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's my little research. Do your research. Come back next week. Let me know what I know. I might have left something out.
That was quite informative. Even I didn't know. I knew crookedness was going, but not to this magnitude.
Well, it's going on probably 100 times worse now, and we just don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, because we got a lot of ways to get away with things that we couldn't get away with in the past. Well, in the past they could get away with things, so they weren't that smart. But now that, let's say, if we evolve the way we are in modern times, of course the process to get away with things also evolves too. That doesn't just stay the same.
Well, we'll take them to current events. We got this so-called, they said the Iranians bombed the Saudi Arabia oil fields, and all of a sudden the prices of oil go up. Come on. And now this clown in the White House is sending soldiers out to Saudi Arabia. He said, oh, no, we're not trying to fight the Iranians. We're just trying to protect the Saudis. Give me a break.
Again, and to make a statement the way I'm about to make it, I'm saying like this because I have very limited information about that type of business. But yet I can only go by what I know and what's given. But basically, when it comes to these type of information, they don't give us but so much information. They give us enough in a sense of where we literally have no choice but agree to what they're doing. But now we knew everything that they knew, we probably come up with like, there's something not right here. Something is clearly wrong. But they don't want us to have that information because why? And again, it doesn't just exist there. It actually, that exists within our regular small communities and as well as in our same gender loving community. People have this notion of, I want to be so misinformed and I like this way because it feels comfortable to me. So let me get as many other people to abide by this or agree to this so that it would make it right. No matter how many people back that claim up, that's not going to make that circumstance correct or right, even politically. But they want it to be like that. And they figured the more people who believe in that and walk by that, it has to be right because everybody else is doing it. So that's more of a reason to continue that kind of behavior or trend.
And that's perfect for my next little topic. We're going to move on. Speaking of people following trends, if you look at, there's a great documentary or biopic. What is that? I said documentary. Something. It's a movie, but it's a documentary.
Oh, biography.
Biography. Okay. It's called The Loudest Voice. The Loudest Voice, and it talks about Roger Ailes, the founder of Fox News. He wasn't the owner, he just was one of the founders of Fox News. It gives you a great backdrop on how this dirty, filthy, wicked, low-life demon to help create Fox News and create all of this racism to come from the closets and out of the backwoods to the forefront.
I don't think you credit him enough when you said that. I mean, those are
being too kind.
Yes, he was. I was like, what?
He's much worse than what I said.
It wasn't flattering enough.
He's much worse. The nigga name is Roger Ailes. He's dead now. I think he died 2-3 years ago. But he was the founder of Fox News, and the documentary is called The Loudest Voice. And he bamboozled all of America. He tricked us all, especially the poor white trash who be voting Republican for all these years. The Republicans hate you just like they hate black folks. The Republicans only like rich white people. The Republicans do not like poor white trash. The Republicans do not like black people. So why?
Even if we are rich like them.
Exactly.
We're not their equals.
Exactly. The way they tore down Michael Jackson, he was rich. They tore down Bill Cosby, he was rich.
I got a little history to share with you. I forgot what TV studio, but I heard that one rich black person who has money, try to get other people. They try to get Bill Cosby, Oprah, Ice Cube, to help them finance and put money into having our own black media. They don't want us to. They found some way legally to block us from having it, even though we had the money and the credentials and the resources to get this. They don't want us to have our own stuff where we have our own stuff and how we have our, the information. They want us to rely on their form of information so they can pick and choose what they tell us, and we have no choice but to agree to that or listen to that, unless we're smart enough to say something's just not right.
Well, that's the reason why if you listen to all the hip hop radio, I won't say all, the majority of hip hop radio, and one of my closest sources claim I'm guilty of this, which is not true. I'm not guilty of it. Yes, I play all rap music, because who put me in charge to say that Atlanta rap music is not good? Music coming from Atlanta, St. Louis, Los Angeles, Oakland, New York.
It's music.
We give everybody a chance to be heard around the world on DNAradio.net. Who made me the judge? Let the people be the judge. So that is the reason why we play both clean rap music and dirty rap music. The dirty rap music comes after, we play that after midnight Eastern time on the East Coast. Okay, it might be midnight here, but it's 9 o'clock in LA. Sorry, and it might be 5 o'clock in the morning in Europe or 6 in the morning in Africa. But our cutting point, our switch over time is midnight New York when we
Eastern Standard Time.
Right, when we start playing dirty music. And I wanted to say something else on that. Many rap stations or most rap stations will not talk about issues like this because all they want is a check. All they want is a check, and they're afraid to make the big moves. You have to be an idiot like the guy, Cedric the Entertainer. As long as you act like a buffoon and a
they'll love you and throw peanuts at you all day.
Exactly. But if you start speaking truth to power, they don't want to advertise on your station. They don't want your voice to be heard. Anyway, on that note, we're here for the people, and we speak truth to power, and we believe in only telling the truth. Next week, God willing, we're supposed to have, believe it or not, the CCRB, which is like the counter to the NYPD. The CCRB, the Civilian Complaint Review Board. When a cop does something wrong, in theory, this board is supposed to investigate.
Now, is it fair? Like do they put the right people on the panel, or they're just gonna put their people who's just gonna be like, oh, this other person could look the other way for something that clearly shouldn't be?
Ask that question next week when we have them right here in the studio.
I will. In fact, I'm gonna write that shit down.
I don't know how these civilians elected appointed. I'm not sure.
I say the same thing, even when it comes to jury duty. At first, I was against it. Like, I'm not missing work for this. This is when I was working.
Well, you get paid, don't you?
No, I did, but it was nothing. I'd rather go home and I'd rather go to work and make my regular pay than this bullshit. Than to, cut off and sit in the boring ass courtroom halfway falling asleep, even though I was well rested, to be with a bunch of idiots or people who I'm not using this term loosely. I'm not saying they're actually idiots, but I know they don't know nearly as much as me or half as intelligent as me. But yet they're there. I'm like, but you give some of these nobodies ability, so what? So you can fulfill your obligation for your legal system or your system to work and say that everybody is. Y'all don't even pick the right people for these times. Y'all just want to pick anything that seems to get whatever agenda you want. Basically, you want to tell people, okay, I want you to vote red. And you don't have your other mindset. Well, what about the blue? Don't question that. You're supposed to vote red. That's all they want you to do. Just what you're supposed to look at, and that's what you're supposed to do.
Well, when I sit on the jury, you better believe me, I am not going to go against innocent black people.
No. I'm going to exercise my right to do what the system said it's supposed to do, to be somebody, an upstanding citizen that helps to put everything to make sure justice is served, whether that person is condemned and they need that, or they're innocent and they need to be absolved from that.
But if you're black, like me, and you're a no good, dirty, filthy, low down dog, I will say guilty. But if you're an innocent person, I will not go along with the other.
Yeah. And I don't have no biased opinions about certain things like that. Like, I could be fair just like anybody else when it comes to these things. But because of their stupid, flawed system, they tend to not look at us as if we're having moral integrities and stuff. And what we learn, people, I'll use myself as an example. Now, mind you, even where I look like president, what I have on, most people would think, oh, he's just this hood nigga from the hood. He don't know anything. He had no education. He probably grew up without a dad and shit and from a broken home, this, that, and the third. So I'm already undermining defeat based on how I look or how I present myself. And even when I do start talking, they see that I have intelligence or have, would you say, credentials that's similar to a college student or not. It's still not enough credibility under my belt that would appeal to them and say, you know what, he deserves the benefit of that. Let's see what he has to say. They don't really care for that because they feel like if they do and they seem like I could say the very things that would make them feel like they're wrong and inadequate or that there's a problem with their particular way of solving problems. And they don't want to be told that, so they'd rather say, let's get rid of the threat. This guy might say too much, da 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 da, and bring truth to light. Like I tend to do that.
Interesting. Any closing and last remarks? Rock. Shout out to anything?
No, just saying welcome to Happy Libra season. Scorpio season on the way. So all my Libra and Scorpios that's coming up to, do your thing, enjoy your Saturday night, and I'll see you fellas next week.
We at DNAradio.net are going to uplift and inspire our listening audience. One of the ways we do this is by having thought-provoking, meaningful conversation. We understand and appreciate passionate responses.